Alrighty.
All right. Welcome, my friends. Welcome to our 9th session. 9th. Wow. We've been playing since early March, beginning of March, of the Red Storm Rising campaign adventure known as The Darkest Dream. This has been designed by Gooey Cube and presented by all of us in the greater Mulmaster Beholders Corps. And we believe that we would like your minds to be opened by wonder, and that's what we strive to do. So tonight, we've had a blast playing this adventure, and we hope that all our viewers have enjoyed it as well as we've played through it. And again, every single time, we've not had anybody miss, which is absolutely awesome. 9 for 9. Playing today, we have Zane.
Hi.
Hello.
Lee.
Hello.
The mighty Trey. And our friend Chris, the technology master. And Billy. Yes, Billy. We're going to find out more about Billy if you didn't watch the last one. And I'll tell you, if you ever watch
it.
if you ever watch any of our stream ever, the last hour of session 8 is the one to watch.
Yeah.
So, and who am I? Well, I'm Casey. I'm better known as the emissary of the Great Mother. And if you could see me, you would see my eyeball hat. Well, go to a convention. Once we finally get back to the ability to go to convention, and I guarantee you will see the emissary hat. So,
yes.
I asked you aberrations. Are we ready to play?
Aye.
Well, dungeon delving is a dangerous deed, yet great reward be given to those who succeed. Let us begin. Who wants to recount the 8th session for a GUI reward?
I shall do so.
All right.
All 5 pages of it.
Oh boy. Well, we're going to heckle you as you go through, so let's get into it.
That's big fun. All right, last time on the Darkest Dream, or as we call it, critting and fumbling through the day, we found our hardy band of adventurers. Always. We found our hardy band of adventurers searching for lost kids down a snake-infested hole. Through this cavern, a worked stone room and dungeon was found.
Snakes. Why does it have to be snakes?
Why does it have to be snakes? And in this room was a foul-smelling stench, full of 3 lizard men and several large snakes. Kenna, being first to the draw, she steps in the room and flames several of the beasts, who promptly return the favor and bite her.
Snakes to the face! Lots of snakes to the face. We like putting our snakes in people's faces, right?
Not funny.
Grar leapt to action, smashing and mauling. Quimber rushes to Kenna's aid. Fleegan, stabby. Theros leaps to action and misses. Alas, there were only 6 enemy legs in the room. After several moments, the enemies were dispatched, and some loot was found.
Loot's
always good. In green letters on the floor, reading GA number 1, there was an ominous message of blood written, "I am coming to seek my vengeance. Beware!" Our adventurers promptly ignored the ominous sign, and Fleegan picked up a stick and signed it, "Douchebag." A cave to the north led nowhere, but opening to the west led to a hallway leading north and south. Onward! The hall to north was a dead end after 40 or 50 feet. Surely there must be a hidden door. No, there's no hidden door, and don't call me Shirley. The fleet-footed Fleegan quickly searched the area and found no doors, but a tapestry with green letters, GA number 2.
I can't even believe that I didn't see that, and you just pointed that out.
Yeah,
wow.
they were there.
Oh, well, I know they were there because I just fixed it.
There's some more. There's some more. With The tapestry had a pale woman with a cruel smile. Upon searching and pulling down the tapestry, Fleegan was scared by an unnamed thing. Da-da-da-da. 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 Hitting it off his head with expert precision, and down the hall, Fleegan avoided a fate worse than Uncle Fester, his doppelganger. Kenneth shot the thing, the undead hand, with an arrow as it skittered by. Theros stomped on it and ground it into the ground and made bone meal. Both tasty and nutritious when served with a balanced breakfast.
And full of calcium.
Tons of calcium. Making their way down the southern hall, our hardy band of adventurers found the hallway ending with a door to the east and one to the west. Checking the door to the east, it was locked with a lock that had head of a beast. Foreshadowing. Boss! Fleegan listened to both doors and heard a gurgling from the monster locked door and an eerily quiet to the other one with only the crackle of fire. Our ill-prepared, hardy band of adventurers prepared to open the door to the east. Theros in front, Grar ready to pounce, and everyone else ready to move in. Door opens by Fleegan in a large room with a fire and a half circle of lizardmen, totally prepared for our heroes.
You gotta learn to be quiet. I mean, you're in a dungeon. You stealth down the hallway, right? Right? All right.
They made a pin cushion out of Theros. Curses that wagon wheel shield and its large holes between the spokes. While good against slashing and bashing, does nothing for piercing thingies. Kenna helps poor Theros with healing touch, and Crimber sacred torches another lizardman. Grar makes it his life mission to demolish these vile creatures as he begins on the southern side of the semicircle, cutting down the evil beasts. Fleegan flings. Theros finally gets into action, and the mighty roar of Theros and Grar made one of them flee. Kenna's got this. Using her jumping ring, she flings over the battle and lands behind the lizardmen like an autumn leaf dancing in the wind, and promptly takes her bow, an arrow, and a page from Wile E. Coyote's archery book and shoots herself instead of the arrow. Actually, it was just a fumble. But thanks to a gooey reward, she reshoots it with a hit. Meanwhile, Crimber steps into the room and onto one of the lizardmen bodies. They were starting to pile up by this time. And Grar takes notice and does a Scottish jig on one of the bodies as he proceeds to cut down more lizardmen. The band of unbeknownst heroes dispatch the lizardmen, and they ransack the room, in which they find a key. I wonder what that's for. And a magic missile fire wand in the loot. Fleegan takes that. A door to the north is the only exit. The fearless band crashes through the north door and find a ransacked room with stairs leading up and out. An exit! But we must find the kids. This room has green letters named GA number 3. But in their mighty haste to find the kids, they ignore such things and head back to the locked door. The hasty band then fall into the door as a group. Inside there are stairs leading down and a door to the south. This is the cleanest room in the dungeon. Seriously, who's your housekeeper? I must have their number. The 2 lizardmen are throwing a kid. That's a goat. Into a large tubular jello mold. Of course, any module put out by a group called Gooey Cube is going to have a Gooey Cube. Cue boss fight music. The poor goat begins to disintegrate. Our heroes, in the midst of making their plans, in their heads hear an insulting voice. What does our teenage band do? Ignore voice, execute plan. What plan? As good of a plan as any gang of teenagers could come up with. Save Billy the Kid, our new mascot. Why? I don't know. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Signed, every teenager ever. Fleegan
Save the kid. That's what I'm here
Save
for.
the kid. Fleegan grabs a javelin from Theros to push the goat out and moves to the Gooey Cube. While attempting to move the goat with the javelin, the shaft dissolves. Instead, Fleegan got hungry and decided to try to cut some of the holiday salad to eat it. If you don't know what a holiday salad is,
Jello.
Google it. It's Jello with amazing goodness in it. Instead, his hand got stuck in the Gooey Cube, and instead of pulling out delicious cherries, grapes, and marshmallows, he got an acid-burned hand. Ouch! Grar runs up and throws one of the lizard men into the cube to knock the goat out, and succeeded in hitting the goat with the lizard man, but only to knock the goat into the center of the dungeon Swiffer Sweeper. Available now for 3 easy payments of $19.95 plus shipping.
We call him a Roomba? I kind of like Roomba. Gooey Roomba.
Call it a Roomba.
It's the Gooey Roomba, right?
The Gooey Roomba. And it's available everywhere except for California and where dungeon monsters are strictly prohibited. Theros likes Grar's actions and repeats it with the second lizardman. Lizardman, goat to the corner pocket. Thus, the youngsters invent pocket billiards. Pops out a dying skinless goat. Poor thing.
Why me?
Crimber is fast-acting, heals Fleegan on his way to save the goat. After healing the goat, the cube tries to eat them both. Crimber moves out of the way, pulling the goat to safety. Kenna, meanwhile, my hero. Kenna, meanwhile, is throwing prismatic balls, freezing and thundering the cube into odd shapes. She's lighting the place up. The heroes could only feel as if there was a song. Staying alive, staying alive. And in the corner, they swear.
Your voice needs about 3 octaves higher there, dude.
Sorry, too much testosterone. And they swore they could see an elf in the corner in the leisure chute. Fleegan joins by launching flaming magic missiles with his new wand. Roar pulls Crimber, and who's pulling the goat to a more safe distance from the gelatinous cube. Theros grabs Gror, pulling Quimber, pulling the goat to farther, even to more safety. The heroes invent the second greatest invention of the day, the Congo line. Upon using all their magic abilities, Kenna and Fleegan cry for the rest of the team for help. Theros grabs a spear from the other room, from the lizard men that they had slaughtered, and lights it on fire and runs back. The cube attacks and misses Fleegan. Grar simply takes out his bow and arrow and shoots the thing, and the arrow just kind of dissolved, but so did the cube.
Sploosh.
And the band of our tired teenage heroes collapsed into a collective heap, sighing. It was over. But we must save the kids. Well, we saved one. Billy the Kid, the Billy Goat, who was, as far as the heroes concerned, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And this is where we pick up our adventures for episode number 9 of The Darkest Dream by Gooey Cube.
Bravo! Bravo!
Yay.
Yeah. That will earn you a Gooey reward. So, actually, you know what? That was so good. How about it earns you a Gooey reward, and you get to pick who else gets a Gooey reward at the same time.
Billy the Kid.
Nice. Let's give that to Kenna.
Yay.
All
Why,
right.
thank you.
So go ahead and give me a roll on the Gooey reward table. So Kenna gets a temporary hit point. Actually, temporary hit points. That's actually pretty powerful. You get
That is nice.
2d8 hit points, temporary.
However, Theros gets a permanent hit point.
Theros gets the permanent hit point.
I will take that.
That one's come up twice now. Unfortunately, not for me.
There you go. Well, good job, guys. That was a great recounting of what happened, and I recommend it. Go back, watch it. The intensity was pretty amazing, and you guys did a great job. And we saved the kid. Waiting for it.
Yes.
So we'll see how that goes. I should have made a kid goat token. Maybe I will. But we'll go on. So everybody else who didn't get gifted a Gooey reward, go ahead and roll a d20, please.
We should put a unicorn horn on the goat and call him Uni.
Well, you put a unicorn horn on it, and then it has 3, right?
Yeah, or we can just cut one off.
I guess you could.
Oh.
But looks like we don't have any more Gooey rewards to pass out tonight, but that's okay. Those were pretty lucrative ones there. So well done, friends. Well done. So we now have before us the ooze has kind of drifted and soaked into the floor. So there's no longer a big gooey thing blocking the door to that room.
I'm melting.
And you have, I guess, stairs descending down and a other door in this room that you haven't explored yet. What would you guys want to do?
Well, I would suggest that we check that door before we move
I agree.
down the stairs.
I think there's more likely a hostage held there.
Hey, are those torches?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, got it. In case, that's right. Quimber has light, so.
Oh, we killed it like in the worst place possible. We all have to walk over
right in the
it.
door. Yeah.
It's just kind of soaked in the door, but not even really necessarily a puddle, because you guys like you said, you all kind of collapsed down into the ground in relief that you didn't get absorbed by this big, cube of acid. Fleegan got the brunt of that. Didn't like that very much. It kind of burned a little bit. So you're gonna check the door.
Pull them out of there.
Yes, Fleegan.
So who's checking the door?
Fleegan,
Okay, what is Fleegan doing?
I will listen at the door.
Okay, give me a perception check.
There's no way we're
Okay,
quiet
you hear whimpering and bleeding coming from the other side of the door.
I hear bleeding. Boy, that's a big monster.
Not bleeding, but bleating.
Bleeding. Okay. I will check to see if it's trapped.
Okay, give me a perception check. Yeah, you're pretty sure it's not trapped. And it's not locked either. Imagine that.
I will open it slowly and take a look inside.
Okay. So you're going to open the door very slowly. We'll open the door.
I'm guessing there's more sheep or goats.
Goats.
Do we have a rope I can put on this goat?
So
A little bit
the door itself is roughly assembled from ill-fitting planks. And they're unlike the others you found in these ruins. It swings open to reveal another hole in the back of the room knocked into the wall, which leads to someplace. Within this area are a lot of rotting bodies, which seem to be mostly unchewed, but definitely dead. As the door opens, you hear a quiet, not bleeding, but bleating. It seems at least a couple goats stolen from your pens are still alive. So a couple more goats, actually. Though they don't seem to be in that great a shape. Yeah. Then even quieter, you hear a soft sniffling and a quiet mewling. And you hear a little voice say, "No, slow." You hear a young girl whimper. And you hear a different girl. Hello?
Do I look like I'm a lizard man? They're a little bit taller than me.
Well, she looks up at you, and she actually recognizes you. and says, "Help us, please." And you recognize that second voice is your friend, little Jovessa. And she actually runs over to Fleegan and wraps her arms around your waist because you're not that much taller than she is. And she just kind of buries her face in your side and just starts whimpering and thanking you for coming to save them.
It's okay. It's okay.
I was afraid that he's not seeing Vezi, so he yells, "Vezi!" and he goes running into the room to look for her.
I'm gonna move over towards the other girl.
Okay. So running in, you're looking for Vezi. I think there might be a discrepancy actually in the module, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be Vezi or Jovessa. But we'll just go with it at this point that Jovessa and Emma were the ones that were taken. It could have very well been that I did it wrong, so I'll admit that. But anyhow, we have Jovessa and Emma in here, which are the two girls that were taken. Emma is quite scared, and she is not quite sure what's going on, and she eyes both Fleegan and Kenna very warily, and you can just see tears start to well up in her eyes, and she's shaking a little bit from fear about what's going on. Jovessa says, "You came. I thought we were gonna get eaten or worse. Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you for finding us. Can we go home now, please? It smells so bad in here."
We won't let them go. Do anything bad to you. We're gonna go.
And I'll walk over and I'll put a rope around one of the goats' necks, walk it over to her and say,
Now I have an important job for you. I want you to make sure this goat gets out with us. Okay? So you
Yeah.
sure.
She seems to be in more better shape, mental shape than the other girl. The other girl's shaking and tearful.
I'll try to calm the other girl down. Just
Okay, go ahead and
talking
give
quietly and.
Okay, give me a persuasion check, please. Jovessa, obviously you all have traveled the road, and she's traveled the road with you all, so she has a little bit more resilience. So she's doing a little bit better, and she knows you guys, and so she's.
I'm gonna burn my inspiration for that.
Okay, all right. Well, good thing, because she almost starts to panic in hysteria as you begin to talk to her, and the words that you're using almost seem to scare her more than hearten her, and you recognize that immediately and start to use calmer and more reassuring mannerisms that seem to settle her down a little bit. And what do you say? Give me an idea of what you're saying.
I'm just going to be like, "It's okay. We've come to save you. You're coming back with us. We're going to get you back to the carnival."
Okay. As she starts to respond a little bit more positively to what you're saying, she looks up and she goes, "Mommy, I want my mommy. Can you take me to her?"
Absolutely, sweetie. We will definitely get you there. I'm
I
going
was-
to pick her up.
"I was playing with my friends," and as you go to pick her up, she kind of steps back a little bit, but she then sees what you're doing, and she kind of looks at you, and she's still not ready or not sure whether or not she wants you to pick her up.
Okay, then I'll just reach out my hand to take hers if she'll do so. And
Okay, she looks at your hand, she looks at you. What do you do?
I'll bring Billy over there too to help out. I'm just kind of standing there though. I haven't done nothing yet.
I'm going to
Okay.
smile very, very kindly to her.
Okay.
And I'm going
Okay.
to crouch down to her level.
Okay. All right. As you get down on her level and you smile to her, she seems to warm a little bit to that, and she very softly takes your hand, and then she just starts to cry. This was probably quite terrifying, obviously.
Yeah.
But and she just sobs and sobs and sobs, and she just kind of buries her face in your hand, and you can just feel the wetness from her tears running over your hand as
Yep,
all the
and
emotion starts to flood.
And if she'll let me, I'll gently put my arms around her and then pick her up and carry her with us.
At this point, she seems to have begun to trust you enough to be able to do that, and she lets you wrap your arm around her shoulder and hold on to her. Jovessa, on the other hand, she kind of wipes. She wipes some tears from her eyes, but she tries to show a stiff upper lip, and she grabs the rope of the goat and looks over at Fleegan, and with her other hand, she reaches out and grabs Fleegan's hand as well.
How many other goats are there that are able to be
more.
taken back?
There were 2 in this room. So
Okay.
one of them, Jovessa's got a leash on, and she's holding on to. The goats are, unfortunately, the other one, you're not even sure it would make it back to camp. It looks like it's on death's door. The one that Jovessa has got a pretty bad limp, as if maybe even one of its legs is broken, and it's been cut on, like they cut some of its flesh off of it. Who knows when, but it's been bleeding pretty good, so it's quite unstable on its feet. But you might be able to lead that one back, but I don't know. If anybody wants to give me a nature check, I can tell you whether or not you feel like it would make it.
Well, the one that we know is going to die, I can touch with the amulet to save it. The other one,
Okay.
maybe we should get it back to camp, and they've got healing back there probably that can help him.
Okay, Fleegan, you
anyone-
recognize that that one, with the amount of blood loss that it's had, and having tended to the animals quite often as part of your duties as a Frenta, you're pretty sure that if you even tried to get it to exert effort to try and get up the stairs out of this place, it probably wouldn't make it even that far. So where are you going to try and heal the one? You said, Kimber?
You save the one that's 2-week period and then carry the other one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I don't have any more
Please do
spells.
not
So...
let these 2 goats get confused with the most important of all goats, though.
Well, that's the leader.
Well, he is the goat.
The
Right.
goat.
The
The
Most
goat.
Yeah.
experienced.
So is that the plan? You guys are going to heal the one goat and carry the other one?
Heal the desperate one and carry the injured.
Okay.
What are the jars and stuff in this room? I guess I missed that.
There is it's more barrels and other stuff. Pretty old and ancient. It was an ancient storeroom, and they've just kind of been. There's nothing in them. Maybe some dust. And old, even most of it's dust because it's been around for, I don't know, what did you guys think this tower was? A couple hundred years old, maybe older than that.
Yeah.
So other than a couple of carcasses and then the other goats that are on death's door and the girls in here, you see a pile of bodies back in this little alcove back in here, and it stinks of decay and rot. I mean, you guys have already been inundated with the stink of the death and the decay and the smell coming off of the lizard guys and stuff like that. And so, it is pretty foul. But you've always become somewhat accustomed to the foulness, but it's still affecting your ability to move forward without. It's affecting you in some way. I'll
That
put it
smell is from the room or from the hole in the wall.
Well, the smell, the death and decay, most of it is coming from the hole in the wall because of the pile of dead bodies in there.
All right, let's
Did
get
they
these
say
girls
how
out of
many
here.
kids were missing?
I think we need to get the girls and the goats out, and then we can come back and take a look at what's down those stairs.
It was just the 2 kids that were missing, the 2 girls.
Yeah, let's get them back, and then we'll go. We'll decide
we
what to do
definitely
from
should.
there. I don't want to take them down into possible danger.
Yeah.
I agree.
This whole thing is to get these kids, so let's go.
And there may be people back at the entrance waiting for them. We could could always check on that other exit after they get back safely.
There could also be lizardmen guards back at that exit too.
True.
Definitely.
Okay.
Best to go back the way we came.
I concur.
Yeah, that creature talking in our heads may have, could have sent a distress signal out to anyone in the vicinity. So you're correct on that, Theros.
Yeah, let's get these kids back, and then if we need to deal with anything else, we'll come back.
Okay. So you guys heal the one goat. Who is going to pick up and carry the other goat?
I will.
Okay. All right. The big Theros obviously picks up, and it's, you're obviously strong enough to be able to do that, and so you tell me how you carry it.
Carry it with its hind legs on one shoulder around my neck. So I put the hind legs on my left side and the forelegs on my right side and just carry it over my neck.
Okay.
Shoulders.
All right. Okay. You guys doing anything else other than just heading back the way you came in?
I approached Theros. I said, "We may need you in case we run into any of these creatures." Says, "I can carry it for you, no problem. I think you would be better in battle if we do come across any lizardmen."
I can give it. I'll give it over to him. You want to take Grower? Do you want to take point and I'll pull up the rear, or you want to do it the other way around?
Not so sure that we should have that much to worry about the rear unless it comes from in this room we just found them. So I say we just both stay in the front. We'll go front since I'm shorter anyway.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Okay. Kimber, I need you to make a athletics check, please.
Don't fail it. There you go.
Oh,
Control 20.
Quimber
So
snatches.
Theros goes to pick up the goat, and he's getting ready to put it on, and Kimber comes over and is talking to him and saying, "My friend, maybe it would be safer for our, man with the big grackle to take care of anything that might attack us." And as Theros is getting ready to try and pick it up, the goat's kind of squirming around. It's a little scared of what's going on, and he's having trouble with it. And Kimber's like, "No, really, give it to me." And so Theros goes to give the goat over to Kimber, and Kimber, just with one arm, just reaches over and has the ability just to corral it around its neck, hold it and flip it over its shoulder and hold it in just the right way, and just kind of gives you an eye like, have you never worked with these things before? I mean, come on.
Hey, I don't want to upset
And you're
Theros.
just kind of holding both of its front legs in one meaty fist as the others are draped around it, and you kind of have your arm wrapped around it in such a way to where it's just like, okay, whatever, I'm done. Maybe you knew it before, who knows? But it just settled in just fine.
It's
So,
the calming presence of Timber.
it is. Well, he is the cleric of Kismia, so and he's always
Goat
lucky.
healer.
He's always lucky, and that goes pretty well. So, all right, so you guys head back on towards the way you came, right?
Yep.
Timber is the god of the goats.
Oh no.
We have a new deity.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to make sure that the girls don't stray far and keep the one in front of me who's pulling, and then Emma with me.
Okay. All right. So Emma goes with you, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and give you the ability to control. Can I do that? I know I can. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to hold hands as we walk out the.
Okay. You know what? I'm not going to waste our time. I'm positive there's a place I can do that, but I'm not finding it all of a sudden, so I won't worry about it. All right, I'll just move them. Okay, so you guys are moving back, and I am going to say this. As you guys move back into the tunnel, you don't get attacked by anything as you're moving into the tunnel, but as you get no more than about 15 feet down the tunnel, you notice that the tunnel, something must have happened, and it's actually collapsed.
Well, I guess we're going back to the stairs out. And then we'll have to walk over ground.
Okay, so you guys are going to head back over to the room with the stairs then.
Yeah.
Or wants to look at the cave
Yep.
in. If it seems
Okay.
full, or
Okay.
if there was something that had rigged it to fall.
Go ahead and give me that special skill roll that you have that doubles your proficiency. So it's whatever your skill roll is plus 4. It's actually whatever your skill roll is plus 2 because it includes your proficiency. Yeah, no. You're trying to tell whether it was natural or somebody caused it to cave in. You wouldn't know.
Better to not know. Okay. So to the other room for the stairway out.
Yup. Come on, everyone.
All
Do
right.
those stairs seem as old as everything else in here? And
Yep,
do they
they do.
seem safe?
Go ahead and give me a perception check if you want to check and see they're safe. Everybody go ahead and move your tokens up to this room. And we'll put Broker over there inspecting the stairs. Do they look safe? Well, they're pretty well built. And so your intuition says they're probably okay considering the streaks of blood that are on them of where they dragged the bleeding bodies down into this room. So they've had things, banging down them as they've been dragged down the stairs.
They look solid enough.
All anybody can ask for.
Mhm. So what do you guys want to do now?
Who's minding the goats specifically?
Well, Joessa has the one goat. She's got a leash around it, and
Quimber has one of those.
Kimber has one over his shoulders.
Who's
And
Billy then?
I don't know who's got Billy.
I
Billy
thought Glor had him.
Grower, do you and I want to go up these stairs and make sure there's nothing on the outside?
I
Let's
just
see.
don't want to carry the goat if I was gonna
No.
take the goat.
Actually,
Might
the
be-
goats,
rope
the
around
goats
its
have
neck.
an affinity for Kimber, obviously. And so even and the fact that Kimber actually healed Billy, it seems to just kind of be hanging out with him, and he's happy to just kind of follow along and tag along behind Kimber. So he's with him.
Good.
Just put a rope around its neck
Go.
and we can carry it with us.
Yeah, you guys, Theros, Gror, that's a good idea. Go up and check, make sure there's nothing up there. We'll bring the kids, both varieties, up once you give us the signal.
Sounds good.
I'd
Quick
also
question.
like to keep an eye on our backside. Make sure
Yep.
nothing sneaks up on us.
Don't want anything up the backside, right?
No.
And there, done that. Thank you.
Your shirt burned it.
How tall from the top of the stairs down? How far of a drop is that?
About 10 feet.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you two head up the stairs, and as you head up the stairs, the air kind of starts to clear a little bit. You are relieved to be able to breathe fresh air again. Even in the short time that you spent below in this place, you could feel a malaise beginning to build in your lungs. Beyond this, the foul smell of the lizard-like creature's den nearly overpowered you more than once. Some of you it actually did. Looking about, you see that the sun, is setting in the west. You see the glow of Lunius, one of the moons, through the trees as she begins her rise with the coming of evening. Though you cannot see it through the woods, you can hear the sound of the carnival not far away. You find yourself in the ruins of a large tower, its stones scattered for dozens of yards in all directions. And there are charred and broken timbers that lay interspersed amongst the stones and the rubble. So it's obvious that this tower had been burned at one point. And you guys were down in the basement, and you come up out of this and you can breathe. And did I show you the picture?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the same tower we were at earlier, though?
You were never at a tower before.
Not when
We were at a well.
when we had the well. Okay.
Yep.
Is the well anywhere near the tower, or are they different directions? Well, it was kind of southeast.
The well was kind of southeast of the Carnival, and you're not really sure, having spent quite a long time underground in that tunnel. That was a pretty long tunnel, and it kind of twisted and turned and stuff like that. So you really don't have a bearing other than you feel like Carnival is probably towards the based on the setting of Sol and the moon coming up and stuff. You feel like, heading out, which direction now is north, and you feel like Carnival is probably to the north from the sounds of it.
Would it be survival to find a path back to the Carnival?
You see a trail heading that direction, and you hear the sound, so it's not going to be hard for you to head back that way.
Good.
Well, we don't see any monsters around. I'll look around for anything that might be of danger.
Okay, go ahead and give me a
We're
perception.
trying to find the well, if I can figure out where their well is as we exit.
Give me a perception check, Theros, for searching around. Okay. There's a lot of rubble and ruins and other things around, and you're just kind of poking around, and you don't see anything of significance.
All right, Grower, do you see anything?
Do not know. Should I roll also?
If you're going to be looking and helping him look, then I would get that. I would give that 16 to him. That would be a help action. Or you can roll if you want to.
I mean,
assisting somebody gives them advantage on their roll.
I'll just help, I guess, since we've already rolled it.
Yeah. So you guys are kind of moving around and looking at things together and stuff like that. And as you do, Theros, you're not really finding anything, but Gror kind of helps you move some rubble, and because you think you see something that might be of interest. And what you actually see are a couple of broken arrows with dark shafts, black fletching, and barbed points. Arrows that you may not have seen the type before. They're definitely broken. I don't know. One of you give me a history check with.
You want to do it? Let's see. My history is.
My intelligence is not a bonus situation.
Yeah, I only have a 1 on that, so I'll just roll.
Take your one.
MRT.
Yeah, they're interesting looking arrows. Neither of you have ever seen the like before, but really you've never really seen arrows like this before either. So it's really hard to tell what they might.
Okay, I'll
Grower wants to keep one, especially since I lost an arrow slaying.
They're broken, so they wouldn't be useful at all.
Right.
Could they be reshafted?
Somebody look at it and so forth, or we could use the head again.
If you want to take a port of it with you and then show it to somebody else, maybe you can get some information from the people back at Carnival.
Why don't you grab those, Grower, and I'll go get everyone else. And I will proceed back down the stairs and tell everyone that the coast is clear.
There is, in this area, there's a cold, dead remains of a campfire. There's actually a corpse of one of the lizardmen stuffed back up underneath somewhere.
Looks like somebody's already been here and taken care of. How old is the corpse? Is it relatively fresh?
No, it's not, and it stinks pretty bad. It's been dead for quite a while.
Looks like somebody already took care of all the guards up here.
Does it look like an animal attack them or like weapon damage?
Go ahead and give me a nature check.
Like something to do with wisdom? Perception. Yeah, isn't that what you meant?
Nature.
We're doing great tonight, aren't we, Grower?
Yeah, they're it's dead. You don't know how it died, but it's dead.
I did discover it is dead. Okay, this is dead, guys. We don't have to. Okay.
All right, Kenna, Quimber, Fleegan, bring the kids.
Yep.
We need to get back to Carnival, but we need to be careful.
Okay.
Anybody have a passive perception over 14 without me having to look?
Yes. Well, a 14, not over.
Okay, well, a 14. That'll work. Okay.
Yep.
So Kenna, as you guys are coming up and you kind of look around at your surroundings, at the ruins of the tower, and you see the debris laying around, and you smell that dead body over in the corner, and you kind of look around, and actually something catches your eye, and you stop and you go over and take a look at it, and there's a small silverish coin on the ground over near it.
Okay. I'll pick it up.
Okay. And as you're going to pick it up, you see laying near it, and you didn't see it before until you got closer to the ground in kind of the dim light, and it's pretty tarnished, is a sleigh bell. The type of
sleigh bell?
A sleigh bell, yeah, the type of bell that might come from a jester's hat.
Huh. Interesting.
Why don't you give me a history check, please, Kenna? Okay. Yeah, you look at the coin. It's an interesting coin. There's an intricate web pattern on the back of the coin. There's an elvish face on the front of it. But you're not sure you've ever seen a coin like this before. In fact, you know you haven't seen a coin like this before. But it's quite different. In all the traveling that you've done, you've never seen anybody use this type of coin before.
All right. I will. I made a note of that. I'm taking that with me. I'm going to take the jester's bell as well, very carefully, so it doesn't make any noise.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and give me a.
My first thought was the wild hunt, and I'm like, no.
Give me a sleight of hand check, which is.
Sure.
Yeah, you go to pick up the bell, and you're so diligent in trying to pick it up to make sure that it doesn't make any noise that you reach down and your fingers just kind of slip as you're gently trying to grab it in the right way, just as if you wanted to pick up an egg, thinking you could do the same thing, and then your fingers slip off of it just as you pick it up off the ground and it hits the ground. It goes tinkle, 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 tinkle.
Oh,
not loud,
okay.
But you failed.
Just quickly pick it up and
jingle, jingle, jingle.
Yep, put it in the pouch. Looking around.
Yeah, everybody just kind of looks at you and they hold up their fingers to their finger to their mouth. They just give you this horrified look.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
It's not my job.
Not that I know a lot about what you do and all of that, but isn't that used as an alarm for a cantrip? Alarm cantrip?
It can be, yes. A small silver bell, yeah.
Cool. Well, maybe that could be useful. So, as you guys head out of the tower, that's what it looks like there, and you notice that it's fairly easy to be able to pick your way through the stones out of the tower there and head back towards Carnival. And for a moment, you're caught up in the thought as you look around and you cast your gaze about the ruins, and you actually wonder what or who could possibly have cast down such a mighty edifice. And actually really only in recent years, if your judgment is correct. So, though the tower is quite old, it seems like maybe not too long ago it was probably destroyed.
Before we walk away, can we look again for like some kind of identifying mason type thing? You'd put kind of a mark.
A mason's mark.
Yeah, go ahead and give me
a resemblance to a style or something.
Give me an investigation check to see if you see it.
I'll assist him.
Specifically.
Please do. Please.
Yeah, I will assist.
specifically looking for something like that.
Thank God you assisted.
Yeah. Yeah, you look around, and whether or not it's there, you don't see it. It could have possibly been destroyed when the tower itself was burned down. But you certainly can't find any markings for a mason or any indication of who or what might have made this place or anything like that. So
I'm sure that the locals can tell us what happened. The townies can tell us what happened to us, I'm sure.
That's a good point.
Possible.
They'll tell us the truth too. But is there any sense of how far we are from the well at all now?
give me a perception check.
That's much easier. Somebody help.
Perception or
I'll help.
survival. Perception or survival, your choice.
I could do survival.
Okay. Well, that's actually
The first one, please.
that's pretty high. You feel as if the well is off to your northeast, and as far as how far away it is, still not a good indication. But you know, from the sounds, you feel like again you're not too far from Carnival. Maybe, you know, maybe a 5-minute walk or something like that.
We are farther away than we were when we went to the well, right?
You're actually probably a little, maybe about the same distance, but to the south. So the well was to the southeast, and it seems as if this is almost due south of Carnival.
6 o'clock instead.
Yeah,
Over
something
by like
that.
4 or something.
Maybe over, you know, maybe a little bit more east of south, but not much. So kind of where you're at. So I'm going to go ahead and move you guys. If you're not going to do, are you going to do anything else?
I change weapons, put my axe away, and take my bow out. Knock an arrow.
All right.
I'm just going to keep my hand on my swords and the other hand on the girl.
Okay. Do me a favor. You should be on the Carnival map now. And what we're going to do is I want you to go to the southeast corner of the map. You should see a crossroads, and you should see your tokens there now.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
There we are. Yep.
Okay.
Where the Shiner thugs were, and Roar was getting a girlfriend.
Yeah, over kind of near there. You're, you know, maybe
a danger zone.
Yeah. So you're getting quite close to Carnival, and you actually see a couple of your those Shiner dudes that were trying to sell their moonshine. Are kind of over there. They're right there near the crossroads, over near a tree, and they're just kind of hanging out towards the tree, watching you guys lumber up the road there, coming back from the tower. And one of them kind of looks out and jeers at you and whistles and says, "Well, seems as if somebody's been in a bit of a scrape there now, hasn't you?" And the other one looks over and he kind of chuckles and he goes, yeah. And they got a couple of young meat over there. I hear tell that some youngsters went missing. Maybe you alls was the ones that took them. Maybe we should do something about this. What you think there, buds?
Maybe you should mind your own business and back the hell off.
Oh, this one's got a mouth on him. He thinks he's big and bold. I don't know. What are you?
Her.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
Kenna.
Her. Yeah, she. Oh. Sorry about that. Oh, sweet dear. She's a little spicy. Might have some fun with you. And he kind of smiles and snaps his fingers a little bit. The other one kind of gives out a little bit of a whistle. And
oh, dang it.
And goes, ooh, and kind of smiles. Can I go ahead and give me a perception check? And
yeah.
Okay. I need to do something, and I'm sorry that this happened.
Mhm.
I did something out of order. Before you guys get to this point, as you're heading back through the trees, something else happens here. Okay, not long after you leave the tower, just as you're kind of heading on the trail back towards Carnival, as you're starting to enter the forest, Kenna,
Mm-hmm.
you feel a dread start to come over you.
Okay.
You can't explain it, but it actually comes upon you suddenly as a dark cloud in your mind.
Something's not right, guys.
Your heartbeat quickens, and before you even have a chance to say that,
Mm-hmm.
an overwhelming feeling of fear grips your body. You cast your eyes about, and at first you see nothing, and then you tell them something's not right.
Mm.
But then, off in the trees, you see a solitary figure, cowled and cloaked in tattered black robes, the edges of which move and sway, though you realize that there's no wind. The fear begins to intensify, and as you look at the apparition, you see it raise its hand in your direction. And the thing's bony palm opens to your vision. And suddenly, it begins to close its grip. And just as suddenly, you feel a squeezing in your chest, as if the terrible figure is squeezing your heart. And the pain that you're feeling intensifies, and you are rooted in place with fear. You all, after he mentioned something's not right, see terror etched on her face. And staring off into the trees, her eyes are wide and sweat is beating upon her brow. Can it give me a Constitution save, please?
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm really good at those. Oh, wow. Nat 20.
Yes, you're very good at those.
Apparently.
The pain becomes excruciating, but you kind of shrug it off a little bit. What do you guys do?
Grab a javelin and hurl it. Is it close enough that we can?
None of you see this. I should have.
okay.
I'm the only one who
She
sees it.
sees. What you see is terror etched upon her face, and her staring off into the trees, and her head start beating up with sweat. Her brow start beating up with sweat, and she kind of keels. She doesn't fall to the ground, but she kind of keels over, slumps over a little bit, and grabs her chest, and is holding onto her chest. Emma screams out in terror as this happens, and almost she catches Kenna catches her breath as this begins to happen. So I will go back to what do you guys do? You look out towards that direction and you don't see anything.
I will grab her arm.
Kenna, do you see fire? Is it fire? Is everything on fire?
No.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Legan?
good then.
Okay. Anybody else?
It's all right, Kenna. There's nothing there, Kenna. We're almost back. You okay?
Let's get back quickly. Something's not right.
Yeah, this night's been, or this day has been very full of things that aren't right.
These are
Okay,
not
Kenna,
good
give me a
times.
Constitution saving throw, please. Okay.
All right.
The pain becomes excruciating in your chest. You take 8 damage,
Oh, ouch.
and you fall to one knee. And she starts to breathe heavily as she's panting. What do you guys do?
feel like we're those people in sunny Philadelphia.
Amber, you're gonna have to try to treat her medically or something. Heal her.
Yeah,
Or being a doctor.
I'm gonna grab a
played
hold.
one in the dungeon.
I think we're kind of freaking. I'll grab a hold of one of her arms and be like, try to look at her, like, what's going on? Anything behind her? Did she get stabbed in the back? What's happening? So I'll do like
Camber's
a
trying to
healing
figure
check.
out what's going. Okay, Camber's trying to figure out what's going on. I know Fleegan was saying something, and I think Gror was also saying something. So Gror, go ahead and tell me what you were doing.
I don't want to drop my bow or unlock the arrow, so I'm going to try to keep watch. But I'm going to get Kimber to look at her and tell us what's wrong.
Okay.
You know, Kimber, check on her. What is it?
Okay, and then Fleegan, what are you doing?
So, Kimber, are you in front of her or just around the back of her or what?
I'm basically to her left front, grabbing a hold of her arm so she doesn't fall over, and just kind of looking her over, like, what is going on?
So I'll stand in front of her, put my hands on both of her on her face, and make her look at me and say, Kenna, what's going on? Tell us what's going on."
Okay. Kimber, go ahead and make a medicine check for me, please.
Oh, you want me to re-roll?
No, you did make a medicine check. Okay, perfect.
I'm assuming that I can't, that I'm having a hard time breathing and I'm not focusing on what.
Yeah, it's the pain is overcoming you. In fact, I'm going to have you make a Constitution save to see if you can even speak.
Okay.
Kimber, you don't see anything physically wrong other than she's having trouble breathing. You can kind of grunt out some sounds, but I don't think you can make any intelligible
nope. I'm not
words. And Kimber is concerned that he can't understand why you're hurting the way that you are, other than it must be something internal. Fleegan tries to get your attention, and you can't speak to him to tell him what's going on. So
I'm trying to force her to look at me. So
that's even difficult. She doesn't seem to be focusing on anything.
Yeah, go with Fleegan. Go ahead and give me a persuasion check. See if you can somehow arrest her attention.
Was she poisoned? Anybody notice?
Fleegan, you're doing everything you can to try and get her to focus on you, but her eyes are starting to cloud over in a sense. You don't see them cloud over, but she's just she's having trouble breathing, and it's causing her to almost faint. Emma is just screaming. She's so upset at what's going on, and Joves is just trying to hold on to the goat, who senses the tension and is getting ready to bolt. And poor Jovesta is just kind of eyes shifting around, not sure what exactly to do, and stands there somewhat dumbstruck at what's going on. Eros, were you going to do anything?
How far are we from Carnival?
You're really just kind of at the edge of the clearing where the tower was, so maybe 5 minutes away at a walk to be able to get there. Go ahead and give me another Constitution saving throw, please, Kenna.
Do you see anything? Gror, Theros, do you see anything? What's she looking at?
I'm like rocking these Constitution saves.
Nothing.
You are rocking
Okay, yeah.
Constitution saves. Gror, give me a perception check, please. Take 2 more points of damage, Kenna.
I'm unconscious.
Okay. All right. Gror looks around and he doesn't see anything that could potentially be dangerous.
I dropped
And
taters.
Kenna loses consciousness and hits the ground. What do you guys do?
I will attempt to catch her before she hits the ground.
Okay, give me a either athletics or acrobatics check, your choice. Okay, you actually are thinking that something's going about ready to happen, and you reach out and you catch her before she hits the ground, and you just kind of lay her down on the ground.
Actually, I was going to pick her up and say, let's hightail it back to Carnival as fast as we can.
I'm
Okay,
gonna rush in with the amulet and start doing her prayer Kismia and try to use the amulet on her. So I guess it was fully charged, right?
What's that?
The healing amulet. If it was fully charged, I've used it 3 times. I'll use it another time on her if I can. I believe it can have like 6 charges.
It only works on goats.
Yeah, you have the ability to pray to Kismi on that. And you go ahead and use a charge on that. Interestingly, though, as she begins to fall faint and Theros catches her and tries to pull her up, and Kimber reaches over and prays to Kismi with the amulet to try and heal her, Kimber feels as if the effect, the normal sensation that you would feel of the healing power flowing through you from Kismi, doesn't seem to go. But Kenna, you open your eyes and realize that the pain is gone, and you immediately shift your head over to the direction to see if you can see the image that terrified you so, and it's gone as well. And all of those hit points that you lost actually are back.
All right.
So whatever happened, it was all in your mind.
I need to see grandmother. I need to talk to her immediately.
Let's hightail it.
Okay.
Since we're close enough, whoever will let me carry them, I'll carry them, and we'll make beat feet.
Okay. All
if
right,
I'm
you guys.
mobile again, I'm hoofing it.
Okay. So yeah, you're mobile again. I mean, you're a little bit shaken up and everything. You're a little weak, but
we have 2 toddlers and a slightly injured goat too.
Do you still have that? There was some sort of spell on you that gave you more armor class. Do you still have that?
Mage armor. Yeah, it lasts for 8 hours.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Do I need to make a No, it's not concentration. Never mind.
Okay. Good thought, but no. Okay. So Emma is she is relieved when you come back, and she stops crying, and she just kind of wraps her arm around your arm, and was just sobbing. Even if you try and talk to her, you can't even really get any words out of her because she was just scared out of her mind about what happened and the fact that you're okay.
Oh, I'm scared out of my mind too, but I'm not letting her know that. I'm going to be telling her it's going to be okay. It's fine. It was just a bad I'm just not feeling well. We just need to get back.
All right, so take that as a dramatic segue in a flashback TV show or something like that. So we skip back to where we were. Okay, so we were having a little bit of role play dialogue with these individuals standing over there by the tree.
My words actually would have been, "We don't have time for your shit. Get out of our way."
and again, they're oh ho. This is a spicy one. I will have fun with her in bed tonight. And the other one lets out that whistle. Kenna, you made a perception check, and it was, if I remember right, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a 19.
Yeah, and you actually pick out. You pick out that somebody kind of moves in the trees over here.
We've got people around us.
At the sound of the whistle, somebody got a little jumpy and is moving around in the trees. What do you guys do?
I'm going to herd everyone through as fast as possible and act as sentry as everyone passes.
Okay, so you guys are going to try and move together as a group towards Carnival.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also yell at him, "We shall pass!" And I'll use my I can't even say that word.
Thaumaturgy.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that to darken like the area around us as we're coming at them.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
I'm gonna pull an old man's trick, you know. Oh crap!
Okay. Let me do something here real quick.
Maybe Theros can intimidate him while I'm doing that, because I'm sure someone's better.
Yeah, I figured that's what you guys were doing. You're going to try and use thaumaturgy and some intimidation to kind of scare him a little bit. So there was one roll. And okay. Okay. These are all individuals that you had seen throughout the day at Carnival. There were some of the locals that were with the blacksmith that was accosting Mother are kind of hanging out in this group. A couple individuals that tried to jump Gror as he was getting jiggy with Tiandra, and
one of them had a big gash of like 9 points of damage in his leg.
He's got a scar there, and it's bandaged. I would say he's got a bandage on it. Yes.
I'm going to identify that one at least.
Yeah. So, these guys kind of come out of the trees here, and they're obviously blocking your way, and they're like, I think, and you hear one of them say, I thinks that maybe they should pay for taking them children's away. What do you think? I don't think that they deserve the opportunity to proceed. I think we maybe need to exact a little bit of, shall we say, justice upon their transgressions these filthy Shazat. And they kind of bar your path.
I'm just chill touching that one. I'm just going to cast chill touch on him.
Okay,
I'm not putting up with this crap anymore.
Yeah, we should have brought a lizard head or something.
Do you have any
as proof?
Do you have any spell slots left? I thought you had used them all. No.
Chill touch is a cantrip.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and roll some initiative then. I'll give you that in just a second. Make sure you select your token. I need to delete these guys up here. Sorry. Okay. Make sure you select your token.
Yep.
That is this one.
My D20 rolls these days are not doing so hot.
Well, that's probably the only nat 20 I'm going to roll for the entire combat. So,
and it's staying in pretty much in form with you. I mean, all your nat 20s are in this.
Most of them.
All right.
True to form.
Yes. That is a natural 20. That puts that up there. That puts that there. That one goes there. All right, Kenna. Well, you're going to get a chill touch and then an action. So chill touch, does that require a constitution or is that an attack?
Nope, it's
or
attack.
Require a okay, that's
it's a roll to hit. Yep.
Roll to hit. Okay, go ahead and roll. Which one? The one.
Whichever
one,
one
was.
Whichever one was saying that we needed to pay for our transgressions.
This one right here. He seems to kind of be the leader. Okay,
Yeah,
that's going to hit.
23.
Okay. How much damage?
4 necrotic.
Okay. All right. You hit him. You're so upset. You point your finger at him and you hit him, and he just kind of cringes and kind of scrunches up a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, you bitch! You're gonna pay for that." And are you guys? I just kind of placed you there. Is that how you guys were situated when you came to these crossroads? Go ahead and lay yourself out if you're in a different.
I'm good. I'm
Close
good.
enough, yeah.
Looks good to me.
Okay.
Kids are protected, so that's important.
That's fine.
Stay close to
Right.
the kids. I'm good where I'm at.
Okay. And he's, after he, yells at you about that, and that you're going to pay for that, he says, "Ow, I think we need to clean ourselves up some shit here, my boys." And they all rush at you. So this one's going to rush up to Theros. And
See, was there any advantage to already having an arrow knocked? Anything?
No, not at this point. There wasn't a surprise on either side. So this one's going to take his sword and take a swing at Theros.
Jeez, what did they get for initiative? My God.
He rolled a nat 20 on that thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thugs get nat 20s.
This one's going to move over to Gror, and he's going to... Actually, he's not going to move over to Gror. He's actually going to take out a dagger and throw it at Gror. Does an 18 hit? You have your bow out, so you don't have your shield out. Does an 18 hit? I think it does. Gror, without your shield, is your armor class 18?
I think the shield's adding to the way you set it up, so it should hit.
Yeah, okay. All right, so he hits for 4 piercing damage. The dagger comes out and nails you on your side. All right, so Fleegan.
Throwing a dagger at the criminal here.
Okay.
We need to get help from camp.
Okay, that's going to hit.
Nice.
Very good.
10 piercing damage. You hit him kind of right in the neck, and he doesn't go down, but he does go down to one knee and just grabs the dagger that's stuck in his neck as the blood's just pouring around his hand. He's not dead, but he is bleeding out, and he's probably going to die here shortly. I didn't need to do that.
You see that, thug? That's how you do it. And I'll throw another dagger at the thug.
At the thug, okay.
See, that's really thug life.
All right, that's going to hit for how much damage? Go ahead and roll damage on that. So that's 2. Okay. That scrapes as it flies on by and cuts him a little bit. All right. Anything else, Ligan?
Just keep the kids and goats between me and the thug.
Okay. All right. There's kind
You
of
mean
a space.
keep yourself between...
That too.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm going to use them as meat shields. What the hell, Fleegan?
Jovessa, she kind of understands, and you guys have an understanding, and she moves into the space between all of you for protection. And she knows what's going on. So, Kimber, you're up.
All right. Let's see. I don't know what some of these things are, but somebody's attacking Thuros, so I'm going to go clobber him.
Okay. That is going to hit.
All right.
Nice.
9 bludgeoning damage. All right. You grab your mace and you go over and you just nail him right in the shoulder. And you hear a crack as you probably broke something in his arm, his left arm, and he kind of yells out and holds and kind of flips back as he gets hit. So, all right. Anything else?
No, I'm trying to think of what to do here still. I mean, I'm done.
Okay. All right, then. This one is gurgling and just before it falls to the ground dead, it takes a dagger out and tries to return the favor on Fleegan and misses, and then it falls to the ground dead as he bleeds out from the wound in his. The dagger sticking out of his neck.
Good job,
all right.
Fleegan.
Okay. This one is going to run down here, pulling out a club and try and beat Kimber senseless. That's going to hit.
All right.
Good luck. He's already senseless.
Yeah,
I have
one
an ability
bludgeoning
to.
damage. You have ability to what?
Let's see. I'm looking here. It's warding flare. You can interpose divine light between yourself and an attacking enemy when you are attacked by a creature within 30 feet. I guess I don't know. I'll save it right now. That's the bad thing about seeing the damage already.
It's all right. So he would have hit anyway because 15 still hits. So one bludgeoning damage, yeah. All right, Theros.
Or Graxling, the guy that's in front of me, smashing his skull.
Okay. And in fact, you take out Graxel and you turn it around sideways instead of trying to cut him, and you take it and you just bring it down hard on the top of his head, and you indeed smash his skull. His bone and brain kind of comes out as he just goes down and crumples in a heap right at your feet.
That's exactly how I pictured it. And I will, as he goes down, as I force his body down with Graxel, I will let out the loudest, most intimidating roar that I can allow, making sure that everyone saw that this guy just got his brains beat in.
All right, because you've already taken an action.
I'll do that next turn.
That's not a. It's if you use it as an action for intimidation, then it would take effect. If not, then you let out a bestial roar, and we use it as flavor. So perfect.
Very good.
All right, Roar, you're up.
I had a question. Did you want music this session?
That is a good question, and I appreciate you asking that because I think that would be a good idea.
I mean, we're doing pretty good without it, but it's always good background atmosphere.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you for that. I kind of miss the music.
Okay. So, Gror, you're up. Thank you for reminding me about that. I'm sorry. I forgot that the whole last session, too.
Yeah.
And I had perfect music.
Let that knocked arrow go at the guy, the Shiner thug who threw the dagger at him.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. That is going to almost hit him, but fly right wide. Anything else?
Other arrow out.
Okay, you get another arrow out. Okay. Any movement or anything?
Oh, that's it.
So this one's going to come down over here. This one's going to come down over here. All right. So we'll start with this one on Gror.
Is the leader down?
The leader went down, yeah. Theros
nice.
just smashed his skull.
I helped. He's the one I chill touched.
And Crumber did break his shoulder before I smashed his skull.
All right, so
I'm helping.
one's going to take a club and try and hit Gror, and it's going to bounce off of Gror's armor. He's going to probably deflect it in some way, and is unable to hit him barely. And then two of them are
I
going
think that
to.
hit Casey because I have a 19.
Oh, and your shield. That's right, because your shield was. Yeah. So actually, that does hit. Yeah. So 4 bludgeoning damage. And then the other 2 angry locals. One's going to hit Kimber for 2 bludgeoning damage. And the other one is going to hit him as well for 2 more bludgeoning damage.
Quit beating on our cleric.
I'll go ahead and blast that guy with my light. Get him to miss.
What is that?
Just too many people coming
So
up
he has
on me.
disadvantage, right?
Yeah, I believe that's what it does. Let's see.
Yeah. Okay. So he's going to miss. Then.
So I basically hold a hand up towards him real quick, and blast of light goes in his face.
Okay. So he actually misses then as he goes to swing at you. And it's good because it just goes right past your head as he does. So you don't take those 2 bludgeoning damage, but you do take the 2 from the other one. Okay. Also... Oops. A couple of your
Drunkards.
drunkard friends from the show that you guys got in a brawl with come out from
Grab
around
my
the tree.
boob in there.
No, actually.
Okay. Lucky for him.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe there's more hiding in the woods. We shall see. There was a thug up here that didn't actually make an attack. He's kind of warily watching back behind them to see if anybody's coming and kind of keeping watch. So that's why that one didn't attack. All right, Kenna, or the drunkards. I need the drunkards. Sorry. You made a lot of enemies this day, if you didn't notice already. All right, so the one is actually going to try and kick Theros, and is unable to because your bestial roar actually probably scared him a little bit. The other one is going to try and punch Kimber, and he is going to punch Kimber for 4 bludgeoning damage right in the back of the head. As you were trying to, actually, he's going to cold cock you out the side of the head because you were facing the one that ran up and flashed the light in his eyes. Did you catch that?
Oh, that was me that got cold cocked?
Yep.
Yeah, Glimmer.
Yeah, you're getting beat up, man.
Yeah, what's up?
Kill the healer, man. All right, Kenna.
Okay.
Is there just 1 arrow per round, or is there a rate of fire?
Just step to here.
1 attack per round.
I'm going to step to there, and I am going to pull both of my swords. I will start with this one here, because he's too close to the children.
Okay. All right.
21.
That is going to slash him good for how much damage?
5
5
piercing.
slashing, 5 piercing. Okay, so you stab him with your wakizashi.
Offhand, 13.
That is That is going to hit for how much damage?
Another 5.
Another 5. Okay. You bloodied him up good, but he doesn't go down. Okay. Anything else?
Nope. Offhand attack is my bonus action. I've already moved. I'm good.
Okay. All right. This one is going to... this one right here is going to take a dagger and throw it at Roar.
Damn it.
A little more. He's going to fumble.
Oh, good.
Boom.
The intimidating roar of Theros screams out as he begins to take his other dagger and throw it at Roar. And as such, it distracts him, and he just kind of throws the dagger into the dirt, and is unable to do that, but kind of regains his composure thereafter. And one moment, please.
Yeah, he just saw his buddy have a dagger thrown in his neck.
All right, out of the trees, 2 more thugs emerge, and this one's gonna actually run up to Gror and take his short sword, and that is going to be a crit. So that is okay. He is going to hit you for 8 piercing damage, Gror, and he is actually going to knock your bow out of your hand.
I'm at least knocked unconscious or something.
No, you're not knocked unconscious. You just took 8 damage. Did you have... Oh, you only had 7 hit points left?
Correct.
Okay, so it takes you down, yeah. He knocked you unconscious, and that's obviously the reason that he knocked the bow out of your hand, and it goes clattering to the ground. So, Roar is unconscious right now. Well... We won't get that severe. We'll do that. So Gror just goes down after that thug hit him. This thug is going to throw a dagger at Kember.
Alright, I'm going to make him miss. I realize I can use that warding flare 4 times a day. So I'm a warding flare.
Yeah, but you can only react once per activation. You only get one reaction.
Yeah, but it's a different round, so he gets a reaction again.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So, yeah, your reaction is used this time. Okay. So he goes to throw the dagger at you, and you see him coming. You saw him coming out of the trees, and you go ahead and just reach up and flash his direction, knowing something could, and that dagger comes flying right at you. And he just barely misses because of the light that shines in his eye. Okay. This one right here, he's going to throw a dagger at Theros and miss. Okay. All right, Fleegan, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to throw a dagger at the angry local here.
Okay. That's going to hit. Okay, that one you stick right between the eyes, and he drops down dead.
I picked him because of sneak attack, and he's dead.
You can pick the drunkard down here and get sneak attack too.
We should kill all the
Yeah, but
thugs
he's
and
very
criminals.
hurt.
Try to leave the
I'm gonna
locals and
off-
drunkards alive.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna
too
go for
late.
the one I already threw.
At this point, Ken doesn't care.
Yeah.
Okay, that one's going to hit. That's at least
No,
one
I don't
damage.
think it's 0.
I don't think it's 0 either. I'm not sure what went wrong with the roll.
There you
Okay.
go.
Got it. That's
Okay. All right. So that one sticks in his side, and it's stuck in his side, and he's bleeding out of that dagger. Anything else? Say that again. You broke up.
You're still
Hey,
breaking
you-
up.
Still breaking up.
I'm done.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, Kimber, you're up.
Okay. This is not good. So Gror's on the ground.
Gror is on the ground.
How can I get over to him? Just weird standing.
You're kind of surrounded. You would have to disengage, and I'm not even. Well, you can't because he's too big.
Nope.
You could disengage. Well, you could disengage and squeeze between these two,
Or here, because
or
guy's
step
down.
over that guy. Yeah, but you'd. I mean, if you didn't disengage,
attack of
you were
opportunities.
engaged with 1, 2, 3, 4 guys.
So disengage is an action, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes your whole action.
Now using the
Just
amulet,
nothing.
is using the amulet a bonus action? Or is that an action? I guess let me look
I don't
at
know. What does the card say?
let's see. It says touch a creature. As an action, it does.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, well I need a clobber then. And that criminal to the north looks worse than the rest, so I'm gonna hit
Hit him hard.
I also like to point out we have scrolls too. If we need to.
Oh, crud, we do.
And a wand.
Now I'm looking at that, thank you.
None of mine are attack spells, though.
All right,
Still
you
have-
swing your mace to that guy and you crack him for how much damage? Okay, 6 bludgeoning damage on the one in front of you. Okay, anything else?
Is there any way I can kind of maneuver so I'm not completely surrounded? I guess
no.
down south?
Nope.
Oh, that would be a disengage still.
Yep.
I have no bonus spells, so I can't do anything else.
Okay.
I'm just screaming. I'm kind of losing it right now, so.
Okay, so you're kind of screaming out, carrying on a commotion. What do you scream out?
Get away from us! We're just trying to save these kids! Wake up from your stupor, you idiots!
Okay. All right. Okay, so the one in front of you, Kimber, is going to take his club and try and beat you. And a 15 hits, as far as I know, right?
Yeah, I can't.
You have a 16. No, it doesn't. You have a 16.
Oh, no, I got 16, yeah.
Yeah, he misses. All right. And it.
Yeah, the
that's
criminal's
it for
dead.
them. Okay. Eros?
As much as I'd like to smash and bash, we're going to use my action as intimidation and give out another large roar to try to scare some of these drunkards away.
And
Okay.
hopefully draw some
Which
attention
tool?
from the carnival.
Are you doing just kind of an unfocused, throwing your head back roar, or are you looking at a particular direction or a particular group?
It will start with my head thrown back, weapon and shield down, roaring as loud as I can, but keeping it and looking around the criminal to the north, Anger local, and around Quimber all the way and finishing with the drunkard. So doing a half circle from here, here,
Yep.
here,
I'll
and
give
here.
it to you. Okay, so the Go ahead and give me an intimidation, please. Okay. Yes, you do exactly what you described, and that one is affected by it. The angry local, first one, fumbles, wets his pants, and actually runs. When it comes to his turn, he's going to run, so Kimber, you're going to get an attack of opportunity on him, so help me remember that. The other one is going to be affected by it, and then the two drunkards. Yep. And yep. So, yeah, you yell out, and that's going to cause some issues. Alright, anything else?
That's all.
Okay. Alright, Gror needs to make a death saving throw.
You can actually click on death saves underneath on the character sheet, and it'll...
Or just roll a d20. Okay, that is a fail. So you have one fail. So in this, when you go unconscious, you roll a death saving throw at the beginning of every one of your turns, or when you take damage when you're unconscious, and 3 strikes and you're dead, 3 successes and you're stable, and you're just unconscious, and you're not dead. So 3 strikes and you're out. So that's your turn. Okay. So this angry local is going to take off running. Kember, you get an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Okay, that I believe is going to miss. That is going to miss. And so he takes off running.
That's right.
Runs
off
from the
into
mighty Quimber.
Yep. And then this one is going to stand his ground, but he's distracted by Theros, and so he's going to roll an attack with disadvantage and fumble because of that. And he's going to slip on the wet grass and make a dexterity saving throw and catch himself before he goes down. So that's how that was resolved. All right. And then, you know what I never did is I never rolled initiative for the drunkards. So I need to not miss them. Okay. So that actually works okay. All right. So this drunkard is going to attack Theros. He's going to try and kick him and fumble as well. He was, and he had disadvantage too. So, you also not only scared him, he was distracted. You may immediately make one melee attack against this guy. So you're roaring, he freaks out, he tries to go and kick you, and you just do something, and I want you to really roleplay this well, because you're probably going to kill him.
All right, this is going to be fun. Come on, all right. Yes. It is
Tell
a
me how
beautiful thing.
Bye-bye.
As Theros is roaring and looking at everyone with his shield in one hand and a Graxel in the other, he makes eye contact with this drunkard, who proceeds to try to kick him in the mouth, and Theros will have nothing of it and brings the axe up right between his legs and cuts him and splits him in half.
Oh, well done. And yes, you do. Look at that.
Ouch! I don't think I can do that much with my short sword on crit.
All right. The other drunkard is going to try and cold cock Kember and with disadvantage, and He's pretty stout. Maybe he had a good stout because he's drunk anyway. And he hits you, but you take the brunt of the force and it doesn't do any damage to you. Hits your armor or whatever it is.
Good.
Okay, so Kenna, you're up.
Okay. Since I have this one flanked between me and Quimber, I'm just going to attack with advantage. So, because that's what flanking does. 17.
Very well.
Flanking doesn't. There is no flanking in 5th edition.
Really? Okay.
So, but you still hit.
Okay.
7 piercing damage. Okay.
9.
That's 9.
9 piercing damage. Yes. Okay. So
Is he
9
still
piercing damage. He's still up.
Dang it.
That's a drunkard. That is going to miss.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to burn my advantage on an ability check. Oh, no, that's not an ability check. Never mind.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope. Actually, yes, I'm going to move, since it won't cause any attack of opportunities, to there.
Okay. All right. Shiner thugs.
What the? Fuck.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is a fight that we're not going to win.
All right. 2 more come from out of the forest.
Yeah.
Say getting ganked. And we're going to start, we'll just start at the top here. This one here is going to throw a dagger at Theros. We're in a new round, so they don't have disadvantage anymore. That's crit. You feel it was imperative to press the advantage no matter the cost. You can choose to gain advantage on all attacks against your target until the end of your next turn. If you do, all enemies have advantage on their attack rolls against you. Well, he's not going to press the advantage because he's the one who's kind of keeping an eye on things, but that was his last dagger. So you take 9 piercing damage there.
Ouch!
Ouch.
You go down?
Oh, no.
Okay, that was your 9 damage. Okay.
Yep. Already updated.
All right.
I was at
This one-
17.
This one's going to move into here, and he's going to take a swing with his short sword at Kimber and hit him for 6 piercing damage.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Ouch.
Come on, go. Where's Billy the? Ah.
This one's going to step into Fleegan and take a swing with his short sword and miss. This one doesn't have any daggers left, so he's going to take a swing at Fleegan with his short sword and hit for 9 piercing damage.
Ouch.
And then this one down here is going to swing his short sword and fumble.
Nice.
Yay!
I'm happy with that.
And he's actually going to miss so bad that his sword comes down and he hits himself in the gut with the pommel of his sword and knock the wind out of himself. And so he's standing there gasping for air. And then this one right here is going to attack Kenna with a dagger because he jumped out of the trees and tries to stab her in the back and does for 5 piercing damage. Okay, Fleegan, you're up.
Okay, well, stab the one in front of me. Offhand stab this guy.
Okay. Okay, that first one's going to hit. 6 piercing damage.
I don't suppose I get.
You do not get sneak attack because Brewer's on the ground.
Oh, but
And you don't
Emma
get it
tried-
from Emma either. You don't get it from Emma either. She's not intimidating. And that's a fumble, I believe.
I
That
am
is a
going
fumble.
to use inspiration to change that into a
Yes.
17.
Okay. All right. Which one are you hitting? That one? Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll have to roll I think just a straight d6 on that, right? Yeah, 2 piercing on that. Okay.
It's actually a D4 because it's not thrown.
d4. Okay. All right.
He's still
Anything
up.
else? Still up.
I've been poking at him all night.
Anything else? These guys are kind of beefy.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, I made these tokens before I actually got some of the artwork. I actually in the version 2 of this, I actually have artwork for them. All right. Kember, you're up.
Morak, Cray, guards! Anyone help! Let's smash this guy in front of me.
Okay. That is going to miss. Anything else?
Let me look. I'm stretching for something. No, I'm pretty much stuck here without spells. No bonus actions that I can think of. Another round of attacks on me. Everybody else.
Okay. All right. So this one right to the north of you is going to take a club swing at you and miss.
My shield.
And that's it for them. Theros.
We're gonna burn my last rage. And we're going to smash. Who looks beefier, this drunkard down here or this criminal?
The criminal.
We're smashing the criminal.
Okay, you're gonna smash the criminal. For how much damage?
Plus
You're
2.
gonna smash him into a bloody pulp as you cut him from side to side.
Very good.
Yes. All right. Anything else?
I get an attack of opportunity if this drunkard comes after me. Let's see.
Yeah, well, you get an attack of opportunity if the drunkard tries to.
Move
Well,
away.
no, there's nobody.
He gets attacked. He gets to attack me though. Because
Actually, no, he doesn't. He does not because he's not engaged with you. He's engaged with Kimber.
Okay. Then I will step over here.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine because the Shiner Thug is engaged with Fleegan. Okay. All right. Gror, make a death saving throw, please.
What was that again?
Gror needs to make a death saving throw. Okay, that's a success. Okay, so that's 1 fail and 1 success. All right, so the drunkard is going to. There he is. He is going to try and punch Kimber again, and this time he goes wide. Swings wide on that. And another 2 come out of the forest. And kind of see you guys here. Mob you. and they do not like Kimber. So one's going to try and kick Kimber. Come on, roll. Roll. There we go. All right. That's going to miss. The other one's going to try and punch Kimber, and that's going to miss as well.
Oh, look for that shield of mine.
Yep. So bing, bing. You kind of hold that up, and they miss that. All right. This one then is going to. I think he's got a club. Yeah, he's going to try and club Kimber. Did it roll? It didn't roll. Roll. There it goes. All right. That's going to club you.
For one.
One.
Well, actually,
So
I'll blast that guy since I still can. I gotta keep all my hit points.
Okay, so yeah, you blast that boy, and he goes to try and club you, and it makes him swing wide, and he misses. This guy's going to come out of the forest over here. Now that Theros is somewhat out of sight over here, and he's going to run over towards Kenna, and take a swing at a club with her. And
Nope.
I think that misses. All right. Okay. All right, Kenna, you're up.
Stabbing the drunkard first.
We can't run for it. Give the little girl a weapon.
All right, that's gonna hit Kenna. Okay, you stab him through his back shoulder, and it comes out his chest as he dies.
And then I will turn and stab the local that just came up behind me.
Okay. Yeah, so you stab out with your Wakizashi, kill the one, swing back around to hit the local, and you slash the angry local for how much damage? And you take his head off as you do.
Nice.
So that was kind of a spectacular move, and you're like, whoa! Impressive. Anything else?
Did it very
No.
dancily.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was a lot of twirling and
Pirouetting of the blade right
pirouetting.
there. All
I
right.
would give you a golf clap, but I'm a little busy at the moment.
Yeah, got it.
Right. This one having no daggers left, and hearing the screams coming from Kimber, realizing it's probably going to bring people, runs down to try and jump Theros. And is going to miss. This one right here is going to take his sword and try and hit Kimber.
Oof. On the shield again.
Okay. I'm getting really laggy here all of a sudden. That's why I rolled a whole bunch of times, because it wasn't taking.
We'll take all those future rolls.
So he missed. And then this one. Yeah, we're going to start with that one on Fleegan. Is going to hit for 5 piercing damage.
Puts me down.
Okay. So Fleegan's gone down. This one is engaged with Theros, and he sees Fleegan go down, so he flips around his short sword and slashes Theros for 6 or stabs Theros through the wagon wheel for 6 piercing damage.
I'm raging, so that's 3.
What's that?
I'm raging, so that's 3.
Oh, that's 3. Okay. All right.
Rage.
And then this guy, seeing Fleegan goes down, goes over and grabs Jovessa.
Oh, hell no.
What?
And she starts screaming as he grabs her, and and she puts up a fight. She starts squirming around and screaming. She bites his
Biting,
arm
scratching.
and starts scratching and kicking him. And I'm
Crit.
She kicks him, but she's kind of holding him at bay. But she's putting up enough of a fight where he was going to try and snatch her and take off running, and she's kind of holding her ground. And she's got one hand still around the goat, and it's kind of holding her in place because he's trying to. It's just with the calamity of him trying to drag her away and her holding onto the goat, and the weight of all of that, he can't seem to pull her away. So he's kind of stuck and not quite sure what to do with that. And then this one right here is going to take another stab at Kenna and miss.
Nope.
Okay, Fleegan, I need
really nice.
Fleegan,
Yeah.
I need a death save throw, please.
I got a 20 right now.
Okay, that's a fail. All right, Kimber, you're up.
Man, I don't even know what to do. I'm like, Billy, get that thug.
Just start killing people.
I'm gonna hit this shiner. You know, he sat back, and is that the one that sat back, and now he's coming up here to take me out, and now everybody else beat the crap out of me? That's
No, he's the one that attacked me.
right. Well, I'm gonna pretend this shiner is him and hit him. Or maybe I should put some fire in his face. Like, I don't know if I can cast with all these people around me.
You can.
Performance anxiety.
Well, I don't know if 5e doesn't do that, huh?
What's that?
Or if I
You can cast
they all
melee.
get to attack me or whatever.
I'm sorry, I had too many people talking. Say that one more time.
5e allows me to cast a melee without retribution.
Cast a melee?
Yeah, can I cast on that thug and melee without getting hit by all these people for it?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna sacred flame this guy in his face then. Thug.
Okay, which one? The one right in front of you?
Yeah,
Or to the side?
The
That
thug.
one?
Shiner thug.
Thug.
That one. Okay. And that's a dexterity saving throw? Is that right?
Sorry, I'm looking it up again. Yeah, succeed on a dex save. That sucks.
Alright, he's gonna fail.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Okay, so roll your damage, okay?
Aw.
Alright, so yeah, a pillar of fire comes down upon, sacred flame fire comes down upon his head and smites him as Kismia comes to your aid. Anything else?
Just screaming help at this point.
Okay.
Tell everybody, stop fighting. There's kids here. Says that guy's trying to kidnap our kid.
Yeah, so
think-
you're really screaming out trying to get in the commotion that's causing you're wondering why people haven't come to your aid yet, but your yells are getting more and more in growing in intensity. So this, any others of those left?
Nope, I think all the criminals are dead.
Yeah, so Faros, you're up.
We're gonna hit this guy.
Okay. Okay, that is going to miss.
Arrgh. And that will
Anything
be my
else?
turn. That'll be the end of my turn.
All right, then Gror needs to make a death saving throw. That is a natural 20, which means that you don't have to make any more saving throws. You
Auto
are stable.
stabilize.
You are unconscious, but you are stable, so you're just out cold on the ground at this point.
Man,
and
that
you are not going
dwarven
to die.
constitution.
So, these two drunkards are going to try and kick and punch Theros, or not Theros, what's his name, Kemper. The first one's going to hit for 4 bludgeoning damage. Kemper, did you have anything you were going to do?
Well, let's see. It is a new round, and I have one more warding flare.
Okay. So as he goes to kick you, and you kind of flare in his face, and he trips and stumbles a little bit and is unable to, as the other one goes to punch you and misses from the distraction of his friend standing next to him. So the angry local standing next to you, Kimber, is going to try and club you.
Let's get these kids back, and I'll buy y'all drinks. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's not good.
As you go down,
I'm down.
so he hits you upside the head with his club, and you go down unconscious.
Damn it.
All right.
I should have followed.
Okay,
I should have went with the drink right off the bat.
So Kenna and Theros, you guys are bleeding from various wounds on your bodies, and you see the 3 of your friends that are down. Your healer just went down. You see 1, 2, 3, 4. Somebody got Jovessa's trying to drag her away. 5, 6 others still menacingly descending upon you, and you feel the fear begin to overcome you, as you know it's likely that they're going to take you guys down. And as you do such, and you give each other knowing looks of how you're going to handle this situation and what you're going to do with that, kind of role play that a little bit for me, real quick, between Theros and Kenna. What do you do to each other, or what do you show each other, or say, or anything?
Well, I know he's in a rage. But when he looks at me, I give him that resolved nod and just turn and start keep swinging.
Okay, all right, Theros.
It's tough to say because I'm enraged.
Yeah.
Your eyes are bloodshot. You're roaring. You're ready to take some more heads off or split people in two, right?
Yes. So I am banging Graxel against the wagon wheel shield and making as much noise. And when I see Kenna give me that knowing nod, I proceed to give out another bellow and swing Graxel above my head.
And I hear Theros throw his head back and say, "Freedom!"
Yep.
All right. And as your bellow comes out and Kimber turns around and just starts swinging without abandon, Borag and Kalnassi, Kenna, Borag and Kalnassi and Cray and Brayan come running down the road, down the trail towards you guys, with their weapons out, ready to knock some heads and take over for this fight. I'll give you each an opportunity to describe how they come in masterfully and save your sorry butts from this mob that is cutting you down. So I'll start with Theros.
My father quickly runs down the pathway, coming in, recognizing his son, and the once too many often rages that he gets in, and proceeds to come behind the Shiner thug that is behind him, his son, and he will quickly give him a thunk on the back of his head and move to the next Shiner thug down here. Theros' mother. So I'll do my parents. How's that?
No, I'm
you're gonna do
give you the
alternate. Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll go to Kenna.
All right.
Yeah. My dad just draws his bow and just starts putting arrows in everything.
Okay. And yeah, they start, going in.
Goes all Legolas on them.
Yeah. Nice, perfect. All right, Gror, you've been down for a while. I want to give you something to do, so you tell me what either Kalnassi or Brayan are doing to take some of these. Brayan is a monk / cleric, and Kalnassi is a big barbarian beast.
Kalnassi should run over to the Shiner thug. Ugh. and grab his neck and twist it off his body.
Just tear it right off.
Snap.
Okay. All right. So this one's gonna get an arrow. This one's gonna get an arrow. This one's gonna get an arrow. All right. Fleegan. What do you see happen?
Well, what I hear later on as I wake up,
Yes.
Brian takes his walking stick out, points it to the shiner at the bottom who's trying to drag the children away, and suddenly fire rips, radiant heat rips up his body as he gets
Okay.
engulfed with blinding light and radiant
That-
damage.
That was quite spectacular. I like that one. Good job.
Yeah.
That was good. That was very good.
Oof. Yeah. Okay. And then Kimber.
So what, we got Cray up there still?
I can. Cray's actually shooting people. Why don't we go ahead and we'll have. I don't know. Who do you want? Do you want? Do you want Selvra, the druid, to come in? Do you want Anton, the cleric, to come in? Do you want
Have her bring her owl bear.
Vestia or Skizig, the two mages?
Billy the kid realizes that this little girl was in danger and charges at the Shiner Thug just south of Kenna and catches him off guard and slams into his hip so hard that you hear a crack. The guy goes to the ground, not being able to stand back up.
Oh, I like that one. That was perfect. I'll give you inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Bravo.
Okay. All right. So, to make a long story short, they come in and they handle all of these thugs, and as they're doing such, they're kind of nailing them down. Some of them they subdue. Some of them they kill because this was lethal damage, and they see what's going on. They come over, and Brian actually stabilizes all of you. Those who went down, you have 1 hit point right now. And you're back up, but he's able to stabilize and kind of bandage and heal you a little bit, so that you're back awake with 1 hit point. And let's take you over here. So you're not under that X anymore. You can delete that X.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want. So, as all of that is happening, Rolf, Constable Rolf, who you guys met, and I'm gonna go find his. There it is. You guys met him at the beginning of the day, and he was giving you kind of a hard time about overstaying the carnival, for overstaying your welcome, and was saying it's time to get going. And you remember kind of the prejudice and the snarling or the sneering that he was saying when he was talking. And he has a group of Nevermore guards and sees the carnage of what's happened on the ground, and comes running up yelling. And you guys are all now surrounded by a posse of town's guards. You guys are obviously in no shape to continue to fight. The Bonduran, the other Hanata's warriors, have their weapons at the ready, and they're not brandishing them, but they're ready to defend themselves if something happens. Rolf comes running up and is like, "What is going on here? There is going to be hell to pay over this. What has happened here? Somebody explain this." Any of you?
Kenna just sits down.
Embark
Little
coughs and
exhausted.
tries to stand. Trying to talk if nobody else does.
Okay.
I can. Well, you can do it. You're better at this than I.
Okay.
So it looks like a
act-
couple of us come forward to say something.
Okay, well, actually, what happens, it sounds like you are all just kind of spent, and you're dumbfounded, and you're like, I can't believe this just went from bad to terrible to worse to absolutely terrible. And surprising to everyone, a little voice from the middle of all of this carnage kind of squeaks out and says, Rolf, please don't harm my friends. They saved me. And you hear Rolf say, Emma, what happened? Where did you go? You're safe. Mother is terrified. Emma, come here. Get away from these people. And she looks at him and she looks at all of you and she smiles and she says, Thank you all for saving me, but no, don't harm them. They were attacked. They saved me. And he immediately looks at you all and looks at Cray and Borag, and he says, Is this true? Do you know? Borag says, Oh, what do we know about all of this? I do not know, but they have just come from the forest a different way, but they've brought back those who have disappeared. And we've heard screaming and yelling, and we came to see what was going on, and they were being attacked. So I do not know the answer to that. And Cray goes, I smell something foul. It's coming from you all. It stinks. All of this stinks. And you stink. But I just smell something even more foul. That these townsfolk would dare to attack and harm our youngsters who bravely this day have brought back the young ones. You, sir, stand down, for you shall not touch them. And Rolf says, Oh, yes, I see it now. I believe you. Emma, this is true? And Emma says, Yes, Rolf, it is true. They have saved me. And can you take me to Mother? Yes, Emma, come here. And Emma looks at you all and she waves and she says, Thank you, I will tell Mother and maybe she can come to your aid. And she runs off to the constable, and he makes a motion for all of his guards to stand down. Says, I leave this to you. To clean this up. No. Come to think of it, these are our folk, and it's our responsibility to take care of this. And he yells at the others, and the others that are still alive. I guess there are a couple others that are still alive. They're knocked. Actually, they're unconscious. Okay, so I will say that a couple of them are unconscious, and they get apprehended by the town's guard and get carted off. And he says to Borag, he says, Well, this day you all have done well. If you need an extra day to get packed up and get out, we'll leave you be. But I think it'd be appropriate at this point to get your stuff and get on out of here, and I'll make sure that this is handled appropriately with the magistrate.
I know I'm ready to leave.
So,
amen, brother.
And at this point,
Sister.
Sister, sorry about that. We'll get there. So at this point, they've rescued you. You guys are able to go back to Carnival. They will take care of you, kind of bandage you up a little bit, but you stink from the what you've been through. You're all just flat out exhausted. It's been the longest day of your life. You've been just completely beaten down. It's the night is growing on as Carnival is drawing to a close. Rolf kind of ushers Emma away, and the guards take a couple of the guards take the egregious unconscious ones and start dragging them away as they start to kind of clean up the bodies of the carnage of the others. So we are going to move on to the end of Carnival here. So, let's go ahead and I'm going to pull your tokens out of here because I'm going to take you guys somewhere else.
Also, in the draw program, there's supposed to be an erase or delete option. I don't see that in X.
I don't remember, and I'm not too worried about it right now.
Okay.
Where is? Oh, my, there he is. Okay, there he is. Okay, so I'm gonna grab you guys. I'm going to drag you. Go ahead and go on over to the tent fire. Okay. So I know that was quite intense, but it was intended to be so. At this point, we're going to go over to the tent fire.
Yep.
So we're going to come to the closing of Carnival for the evening. So go ahead and position yourselves around the tent fire. And find the right page here. And as the carnival comes to a close, its closing is evidenced by the evening's sky magics being cast by Vestia and Skizik. The darkening sky above you is sporadically lit with brilliant color and sparkling lights. As you watch, you see the dazzling displays of winged horses made of fire, dragons that seemingly are made of living rainbows that are dancing against the starry background, and great explosions that create beautiful multicolored flowers of shining hues that make the night sky seem as bright as day. Very soon, all of the people from Nevermore and the surrounding area will be leaving. Only the gambling tents will remain open, likely until midnight. It has been a good day for you and your group, though it's been tough, and you're exhausted. Your deeds will undoubtedly be celebrated at the tent fire tonight, and you will surely be well rewarded by Boreg and Kelnassi. You make your way over to the western area of the field where the tent fire is already being lit, and a number of your fellow Hanatas are gathered. Sunacy and Frenny's wagons have been pulled close, and the aromas of the delicious cooking that they're doing set your bellies a-rumbling. You are hungry. You are worn out. You also see Stoof and Lena standing next to a tapped keg, passing out pints of any and all, save, obviously, the Yunstas. So you guys are able to partake all of that.
Well, first things first, I find a bath.
You're able to find at least some water to kind of wash yourself down, but it is the tent fire time, and it's time for people, all of the Hanatas, to kind of gather around the fire for the evening recounting of what's happening during the day, to go ahead and present their gatherings for the day, to be split up amongst the troop. And so among all of your items, this is where it gets kind of split up, and we can handle that later. We don't need to handle that now. But at some point, you guys will decide what items you want to keep that you found. Now, anything that was given to you, you get to keep, but anything that you found, you're allowed to keep half of what you found, and you'll have to give up the rest of it. So we can decide that later. But if you so choose that you want to keep it for some reason, and not give up half of it, let me know, because we'll have to handle that through some discussion. But as Carnival is coming to a close, the Darktide lanterns begin to be lit. I'll show you this. So again, it's Darktide's Eve. Okay, Darktide is the day that doesn't celebrate but remembers the day of the Woe of Ruin some 1,200 years earlier, when the world was sundered because of the calamity of the misuse of magic that was in the world. And that Darktide is tomorrow. Tonight is Darktide's Eve. And from sundown, which it is now, on Darktide's Eve, until sundown on the day of Darktide tomorrow, is a day of foreboding and strange tidings. Very crazy things happen because it's all associated with that day. And it's not superstition. It really does. Dark and evil and scary things abound. And so what they do is people light what's called Darktide lanterns to help keep the evil happenings and the evil spirits away. And that's what's being done tonight, is now that the sun has gone down, the lanterns are beginning to be lit. And with plates of steaming food and mugs of frothy drink in your hands, you warily drop down into the makeshift benches and seats around the fire to rest your tired legs. Boastful tales and epic sagas are already underway, while Grayson and Grelda pluck casually at their instruments to create a pleasant musical backdrop that almost, but not quite, drowns out the nearby forest's ghostly nightmare sounds that begin to come out as the evening of Darktide comes upon you. You see Mother Salvenza and Anton, the priest, moving between the wagons, lighting the Darktide lanterns and hanging them by the entrance of each. You can't help but smile as you hear Kalnassi describing one of the more comical wrestling bouts she had earlier in the day to Bran, while they walk over to sit near you. And at first you don't even notice, but Cray has also made his way over to the circle and is quietly sharpening his daggers on whetstone. You begin eating your meal. Mother and Anton finish lighting the last lamp and make their way over to the fire to warm their bones, and the priests nod to each one of you in turn as he stretches out his hands toward the dancing flames. Mother Salvenza graces you with a warm, toothless smile, and she says, "I've heard that my dear Zatis did this day. Such courage you showed facing these creatures. I would ask you what happened after you found the tower. But this is not the time. You seem tired, and maybe it'd be better that we hear a story. Shall we listen to a story? Would that be good for you all?"
Aye.
Your stories are the best.
Well, tonight,
I
and the goat bleeds a little bit out. Tonight, I believe that it would be good for us to hear a heartening tale of what has transpired in the world many, many millennia ago. And I shall give that opportunity to old Strem to tell the tale, as he expertly has many times before. So we're going to give you guys a tale real quick. It's called The Legend of Fool's Day.
That wasn't today.
Yeah, no kidding.
Feels it.
So, old Strem leans on his staff and he heads up into the fire, and the music kind of quiets down a little bit, and he begins to tell the tale long before the Woe of Ruin. Let me turn the music down a little bit here. Far in the dim reaches of history, Flemarek, the first god of decay, plotted with the other gods of evil to destroy the gods of goodness and neutrality. The evil gods' hatred had been kindled in the preceding millennia, as their worshippers were continually subject to exile from the civilizations created by the worshippers of the good and neutral gods. In the war that followed, the entire Eterniverse was nearly destroyed, and a number of good and neutral gods were killed by the evil gods. One of these was Andriana, the life giver, the first goddess of growing things. She was destroyed utterly by Flemarek in a terrible act of treachery. And when the god of rot went to treat with her under the pretense of brokering a peace, he struck her down. Now the jester god Jinx and the goddess of luck Kismia both loved Andriana. And she was as kind and caring of a goddess as lived in the havens, which is the place where all the gods of good abide. And though Flemarek was powerful and the walls of his citadel strong, the pair determined to seek vengeance against him. In those days, Flemarek, not the goddess of silk, was the patron god of the Dunahadrin, which are known as the Drowish people. The god would often take Drowish men and women to his bedchambers to satisfy his insatiable and grotesque lusts. Though few survived these encounters, most Drow considered it a great honor to be so summoned. And it came to pass that Jinx put in place the greatest trick the jester god had ever devised. He enhanced and augmented by all the luck that Kismia could bring forth. Jinx disguised himself as an incredibly handsome drow carpenter, and then placed an even greater disguise on Kismia to make her appearance as a most beautiful drowish stonemason. The pair then came to the magnificent temple of Flemarek in the great drow city of Vendaun, deep beneath what is now called the Wormrest Mountains. The temple had been damaged in the war, and Flemarek himself had commanded that it be immediately restored. Jinx then ensured that Everika, the high priestess of the temple, took notice of the pair as they worked on the restoration of the temple proper. And 2 days later, the gambit paid off, and the two were brought to the shrine of summoning deep below the main tabernacle. The priestess there bathed them and dressed the pair in thin silken robes and anointed their bodies with precious oils. And then a sickening portal of magic, much like a curtain of dripping green ooze, was opened before them. And stepping through, the two found themselves in the opulent and disgusting bedchamber of the Lord of Rot. Without preamble, Flemarek came for them, his vile lusts inflamed to such feverish levels that the two gods sweated as he approached. He was a horrid and repugnant monster, a mountain of revolting, sickly green flesh, and sores and decay covering his face and body. He smelled of fetid sickness and putrescence as no grotesque thing had ever smelled before. And his face was the purest of evil, and gall dripped in sickly strands from his wet purple lips. He grabbed the male first, ripping off the gossamer robe and regarding his nakedness. The drow was handsome, to be sure, young, strong of body, and beautiful to behold. It was an impressive offering, to say the least, and the god's heat increased at the thought of what he would do with him. But then his eye was drawn to the female. There was something about her. And pushing the male to the corner, Flemarek stepped forward and slashed the silk from the female's body with his wretched taloned fingers. And for some moment he paused, transfixed at her beauty. She was as no drowish woman he had ever seen. Her appearance was ravishing, and she had skin as smooth as onyx, and her body supple, curved, and ample. And her eyes were as pools of the deepest red, and her hair a silky white flow hanging down to her waist. The wrought god was enraptured. Now, this was as the two gods had planned. As Jinx had given Kismia the most impressive disguise he had ever conceived, and the goddess of fortune had added her powers of luck to the disguise to further enhance his alertness. Now Flemarek was nearly hypnotized by the figure standing before him, and drool fell in gobs from his mouth as his desire was driven to a height he had never felt before. He had to have this perfect creature, to take her until he could no more. And then, when he was satiated, he would rot the flesh from her bones. And Kismia looked upon the festering mass standing before her. And with a guile only the goddess of luck could master, she reached forward to stroke the rotting flesh of his cheek. But she finished the caress with a scratch that opened an oozing wound on the god's face. Flemarek howled in anger at the impotence of the dark elf. His anger, coupled with the burning heat of his longings, nearly pushed him to insanity. He grabbed the drow woman and turned her about, and he would exact a vengeance upon her like of which none had ever felt. And then he would ravage the male who was now cowering in the corner, and once his anger and lust were satisfied, he would send his maggot spawn to slay the priestess who provided these two offerings for good measure. It was then that the god of decay made a fateful mistake. Taking his thoughts from his surroundings, he placed his focus squarely upon the brazen dark elf before him, his mind set only upon making her suffer as none had suffered before. Pushing her to the floor, he raised his talon hand and he raked it across her back. And she screamed in pain as her blood poured from the gashes, and the festering foulness beneath his long nails infected her flesh. And Flemarek smiled hideously in her agony. But then something happened that set the Lord of Decay aback. The she-elf began to laugh. And then, as the woman turned her face to him, the rot god saw not the face of the drow, but the face of Kismia. And with triumph in her gaze, too late, Flemarek turned around and towards the male drow in the corner. And to his horror, he heard the jingling of bells as the jester god's hat started to quiver, and Jinx's daggers met in Flemarek's neck, severing his head from his body. At the same moment, Kismia stabbed a hidden shiv into the rock god's chest, and then thrusting her hand into the cavity, she tore his steel pulsing heart from his body. The two then fled from Flemarek's citadel, taking the head and the heart with them. And they rejoined their godly brothers and sisters to continue fighting the war that was held in the plains. Now Kismia would forever bear scars on her back from the terrible raking she received, and Jinx's daggers would never again be clean. Beyond this, the Lord of Fools would also bear a strange affliction that would cause a painful, festering wound on his neck to appear at random times. But the gambit played by the pair was called forevermore the most foolish thing that any god or mortal had ever done. And as the day on which they performed their scheme was the 22nd day of Dezaun, forevermore that day was called Fool's Day, which is still celebrated today. Yet in the aftermath, Silk, the spider goddess, seized on the opportunity that Flemerek's death offered. And at much risk to herself due to the ongoing war, Silk came forth to bless the now patronless Drowish peoples. And it came to pass that many of the Drowish priesthoods proclaimed the spider goddess as the new patron god of the Drow. And that, my Hanatas, is the legend of Fool's Day.
I walk over to him and hand him the silver coin and the jester's bell.
Okay. He knowingly looks at the coin and looks at the bell and says, What quite interesting tidings this be this night, especially with the story I have just recounted. This be a Drowish coin.
They were found at the tower where we rescued the girls.
My. Well, it do be Dark Tide's Eve. Strange things and stranger things have happened. But I find that, don't know. I find that interesting that is it a good omen or a bad omen, considering what we just spoke of?
We'll leave it as an omen for now and decide later.
Who has the broken arrow? Was that Gror?
Rory got it.
Yep.
I think I have the Gror.
Okay. All right. He actually looks over and sees that one of you, whoever, I think if Gror's holding that, he's kind of flicking the arrow a little bit. He says, young Master Gror, bring me that arrow. Do you do so?
And I can bring it over to him. Yeah.
He looks at that and says, my. Maybe we would consider this bad tidings. This is Drowish of make. There is Drow in these parts, which is strange because Drow don't normally travel these roads. As I ran through. We must be on our guard, and you kind of catch Prey grab the hilt of his blade as this happens, seemingly concerned about what might be going on. All right.
I'm gonna do a prayer to Kismia and Jinx, holding that holy symbol I got into the other gods of good and neutrality. And thanks for getting us through this season and this crazy Fool's Day that we've had, and rescuing the kids and bringing them back alive, and in hopes that this is a good omen and not a bad omen. And thanking them for what they have done for us, because the story has much to do with Jinx and Kismia, what good they've done. They suffer for it.
As you're saying that most appropriate prayer at this time, you feel compelled, possibly Kismia or just out of intuition, to look over at Mother Salvensa. And as you look over at Mother Salvensa, you notice that despite the light from the fire, you see a strange shadow pass over her features. It lingers for several moments, giving her face an almost skeptical appearance. A flickering green glint in her eyes, almost like some ghastly burning flame, catches your attention before vanishing as quickly as it has appeared. What do you guys do?
It's just Cumber that sees this, right?
Kimber sees this, but I'll go ahead and allow all of you to maybe again. Yeah, maybe it was intuition, maybe it was by the response of Kismia, but it comes to all of your attention. You see Mother do this simultaneously.
I'm gonna rush over to her. I don't think it's her. I feel like there's some other presence maybe, and I rush over in case something bad is about to happen.
Okay, that's what Kimber does, so you can rush over to her. Grower, what do you do?
Well, I'll stay there, like where I've passed the arrow on, and I'm not next to her, correct?
You actually are right next to her.
Well, then I'll go to try to brace her, grab her shoulder, and say, "Oh, been too odd of a day. There must be more going on here."
She doesn't respond, but she seems to welcome your touch as it happens. So, okay, Fleegan, what do you do?
I'm going to be ready for anything after a day like this. I'm going to keep an eye out on everything, and especially that campfire.
Okay. All right.
Fire!
Keep an eye on that fire!
I forgot. Vezi actually is kind of curled up with you during that story. Vezi came over and she holds your hand, Fleegan, and she kind of curls up with you.
I needed that.
Yeah. All right, Theros, what are you doing?
I'm going to hop up and raise the alarm as I run over to Mother Savensa. Mom, Dad, something's going on with Mother Savensa.
Okay, they see you running and they start to move towards where you are as well. Kenna, what are you doing?
I'm going to stay by Cray and put my hand on his arm and be like, "It is going to be a bad evening, I believe. Do you need my help?"
He actually gives you a sideways glance. He actually kind of gives you that knowing eye of when you know that you should be quiet, as he grabs the pommel of his sword. And his pose goes rigid and tense. And his
I will
eyes
take the same
quite
pose.
alert. Okay. You also notice, Kenneth, that Brian is also casting his sightless gaze about into the darkness beyond the fire. Both Borag and Kalnassi kind of move over to Mother Salvensa, and then their intuition stops as they look over towards Gray and Brian, and both of them put their hands on their weapons at that point. Suddenly, the wind begins to increase in intensity. The breeze that at first had only been uncomfortable cuts with a frosty sting as the many campfires whip and writhe under its forceful touch. And now the drowsy expression of Vezi's face melts away as she scrambles to her feet, her eyes wide with fear. And you also hear the keening wail of Krita, one of the other youngsters, howl over the howling wind past your ears as fear causes her to cry out. What do you guys do? I'll go ahead and go. We'll go back around. Kimber, what do you do?
So Mother Salvensa is just kind of standing here now. There's other things happening amongst the group, and I don't know what it is.
You feel like she's possibly going into a trance again.
Oh, okay.
Or what you had seen earlier this day, where she kind of just went into a trance.
I'm gonna ready my shield and cast light on it, or light these shadows.
All right. As you do so, you feel like you see a shadow move off behind Brian, behind one of the cards. Okay. Theros, what do you do?
I will start gathering up the children and getting them inside the inside. I assume there's a wagon we can get into with the kids.
You could probably come over to this wagon and start putting them into this wagon. Yes.
Yeah, I'll start rounding up the kids and putting them in there.
Okay.
Youngsters.
Okay. All right. So we'll drag them all over here. You're able to gather these up. Vezi has a death grip on Fleegan's hand and doesn't go anywhere, but all the rest of them come to you. And
that's fine. That's fine. She's safe with him.
So you start loading them up into the cart there. Fleegan, what do you do?
Is Vezi looking in any one particular direction, or is she just looking around?
She's looking around. She's kind of whipping her head back around and forth, and her eyes are wide with fear.
I'll go to her and say, Vezi, what is it? What is it? What's going on?
Oddly, she doesn't respond. She continues that fearful gaze as you do that. Gror, what are you doing?
Stay with Mother Sylvanta and keep trying to, brace her from falling or whatever. She's going to a trance, and maybe see if I can gently wake her up too.
Okay. All right.
Not too aggressively. But...
Yeah. Go ahead and give me. Give me give me a survival check. Kind of see what to do there. Yeah. Okay. You're able to kind of steady her and hold on to her, and your attempt to bring her around from the trance doesn't seem to have any effect. But you're able to kind of keep her from slumping to the ground while she's in her trance, as if she might fall backwards. And so what you're doing is actually quite appropriate. All right, Kenna, what are you doing?
I am going to roll up on top, just flip up on top of the wagon here, and draw my bow and arrow and start looking around in, basically this direction.
Okay.
And into the darkness.
Give me a perception check.
Yep, rocking the perceptions.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
You hear from behind the wagon that you're up on, what sounds like a stick snapping, and I'll let you kind of go to investigate. And a very strange thing. You expect to maybe see somebody standing back there or something like that, and what you see instead is a skull rising up from the ground. And it just kind of lays there in the dirt.
Okay, not what I was anticipating.
Yeah. So after all of you guys take these actions, and Kenna sees that skull rise up from the ground and just lay there in the dirt, and the strange sensation of fear and confusion starts to descend upon her. Suddenly, all goes still. And Mother Salvenza actually says, "What is..." And then every fire and lantern in the camp flares with an incredible vehemence. You hear the telltale schlick of Kray's blade being drawn before a piercing scream echoes in the darkness just before you. You recognize the voice. It's Vezi. And she starts screaming, "It's coming!" And she cries in panicked horror, her hands clapped tightly over her ears as her eyes are squeezed shut. And she screams out, "The bad thing! I can see it! The bad thing! It's so close! Please, please make it go away! Make the bad thing go away!" And she shrieks again before suddenly falling silent for several heart-pounding seconds. And her hands drop to her sides, and you see her raise her eyes to stare off into the night sky. She stares out into the night sky, and then she says, barely above a whisper, "It's here." What do you do?
Look at the direction she's looking in the sky.
Okay. All you see is darkness in the sky.
I yell, "I saw something over behind Brian," and I'll move towards the middle and kind of shine my shield that way, try to get more light in the area.
Okay. All right. Gror?
To stand on her own for sure, or not necessarily?
She is kind of staring off into space, but she seems to be able to stand on her own. At least that's what you would feel at this point.
stay by her, but draw my axe and take my shield off of my back too, and just kind of begin to ready for whatever the heck is coming next.
Okay. All right. Theros?
I assume there's only one entrance, one exit to this wagon. Is there a
Yes.
front and back?
Yeah,
Okay.
on the front side. Yeah.
Then I'll draw my weapons and I will guard the entrance. Or the
Okay,
children.
Ken. Okay, Kenna?
I'm just continuing to look around and try to see what it is that the seers are, those who are sensitive are detecting. I'm at the ready.
Did anybody check the cow pen? That's where it's all at.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right.
Or the illusion tent.
Fleegan. As the hushed words leave Vezi's lips, a wave of vertigo sweeps through your head. Your vision tunnels and your breathing hitches in your chest as creeping emerald tendrils start to reach for you from the fire's blazing light. You start to fall. And before the hungering appendages and cloying shadows engulf you, a sick, malevolent laughter thunders through your mind. And then you hear a deep, hissing voice speak just before the blackness takes you. I come for you, Shazat. So you guys see Fleegan faint. He blacks out and goes to the ground unconscious. What do y'all do?
I'll yell to Quimber. Quimber, Fleegan.
Yeah, I'm rushing over to Fleegan.
Okay, give me a medicine check on him. Because I assume you're checking him out to see what might have happened.
Yes.
You notice that he's unconscious. He's breathing, but he's unconscious on the ground. He's fallen over. Must have been in some sort of a faint. Gror, what are you doing?
Out, where it could be up in the sky and being ready.
Okay, so you're looking at what Vezi's looking at, trying to see what's going on. Is that right? If you answered that, I'm sorry I didn't hear it.
You're on mute.
Gore is passed out also.
I missed that. I'm sorry. Maybe you broke up.
Okay, I might have broken up. You said that you were just staring up into the night sky at what Vezi's
Where
looking at.
Vezi was pointing, yeah, trying to see if there's anything.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check, please. All you can really see is just the blackness of the night sky. You don't even necessarily see any stars out just yet because the sun has just set, and it's quite dark in the light from the campfire and the other lanterns. The Darktide lanterns are kind of masking off the light. So you're searching, but you see nothing. So Kenna, what is your action?
I am since Quimber's run over to Fleegan. I'm just hyper vigilant at this point. I'm looking everywhere where Vezi's looking, in the direction that the skull came up, and I'm just everywhere, keeping an eye on everything, ready for any action.
All right. Well, that sounds about right, because as you cast your eyes about looking for a threat, you see Mother Salvenza and Fleegan go limp. And actually, Mother Salvenza went down about exactly the same time Fleegan went down. and they crumple to the ground. Brian and Anton rush over to Mother's side, and then suddenly the flames in the fire pit and the lanterns all burst into a shower of billions of green sparks. Just as quickly, everything goes completely out. And the last thing you see before the entire camp is plunged into darkness is little Vezi, her eyes wide with terror, staring up at the black sky.
I have dark vision.
And that, my dear friends, is where the darkest dream ends.
You're kidding.
Woo!
Cliffhanger.
What timing, too. The picture was loading to get bigger, and as soon as you brought up her eyes looking up into the sky, the picture also got big. That was pretty creepy.
Wow. That is the darkest dream, friends. Yes, there is another chapter. So
there's two. I've got all three of them. I know there's two more.
But if you all are so inclined,
Yes,
we will continue.
inclined. I'm fully inclined.
All right.
Here,
Well,
Oh, that's
Let's
re-
have it.
That's reclined. Sorry.
That's the stop for sure.
Well-
Yeah, no. I want to keep going.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am
Okay.
loving this character and I'm liking the story.
Well, friends, I am going to say this. Thank you. This has been a wonderful series of sessions. The Darkest Dream is, as you know, a wonderful tale, and it's a great adventure, and it leads on to an even greater adventure and much, much more. It is slated to go quite some time. In lieu of gaining a level, I know you guys had the longest day ever. We've played 9 sessions, and you're still level 1. This is how it's going to go down. Everybody is going to get 5 additional permanent hit points. So everybody can add 5 additional permanent hit points to their character.
Nice.
We're going to stay level 1.
Yeah.
But each one of you are going to get a Gooey reward for your awesome, amazing, spectacular play this entire series. And so let's go ahead and see what the Gooey rewards are before we close down for the evening. So congratulations for surviving and making it through even the gauntlet of the pissed off townies.
Really, Theros? Really?
That's 2. That's 2 today.
Two today. Yeah.
All right. Well, another
I call
single
shenanigans.
That gives me basically +7 this session. So I'll take that.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well,
We should
you are
all
the
roll really quickly so we all get it.
Oh,
So
Fleegan.
Fleegan gets a hero
You get a
point.
hero
That is
point.
that is special. That
That
can be
is
very helpful. So
damn
keep that in your
awesome.
back pocket and remember that you have that available to you. Okay. All right. Well, who's the next one here?
I'll go.
Kenna, a fate,
point.
Wow.
We getting the rare ones.
Yeah, you guys are getting rewarded for the spectacular work, and I think it's well deserved. Well deserved. Okay, Gror, go ahead and roll for your Gooey reward. You get an advantage on an initiative roll, which can potentially happen in combats moving forward. Can be very helpful. And then I think was it Kember? Are you the last one?
Where do you roll that again?
Go over to your macro tab. It's or your collection. I'm sorry, your collection tab. It's the one to the left of your gear. Your settings tab,
Oh, yeah.
and then at the bottom there'll be GUI rewards. Okay, that didn't roll. Why didn't that roll?
Oh, I see some. It says
Yeah,
advantage,
advantage
on
on
ability check.
Oh, you know what? It didn't scroll down for me. That's why. Okay. So you get advantage on an ability check at some point.
Wow,
So,
some crazy rolls there.
yeah. Well, well done, friends. Well done. And much more story yet to be had. Much more. But we will continue moving forward. So I'm going to go ahead and dismiss the audience. The Greater Mulmaster Beholders Corps has appreciated all who have watched and continue to watch the recording of this.
Yes.
It'll be available as long as we're allowed to have it available up on YouTube. So enjoy watching the series and learning from it. If you're a GM and you're wanting to run this for your players, you're welcome to. It's available on Roll20 on the marketplace. The physical product is available from GooeyCube.com. But the Greater Mulmaster Beholders Corps salutes you. Hope that your eyes have been opened by wonder. And we say to you all, we actually ask you all, the players, did you have fun?
Aye.
We're certainly. Aye.
Yes.
Huzzah!
I think Billy is going to be a fixture, and I love it. And
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun to have. And so we'll
He's
definitely
your
play with that. So, my friends, the viewers, please join us. Look where you find out where listings are had for when we have the next session starting with Chapter 2. And we will continue with this on YouTube. Thank you for watching. And as always, may all of your adventures be sticky. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Night.
Ta-ta.
It's playing the promos. We're muted.